hospital because they had the Spinal Gringo sign showing. He was
I'm standing on the sign.
Standing on the sign.
It was right there. They said 26 in New Cut Road.
Yeah, 30
that might have been what Jody was talking about.
But they got him down after a while.
And took him to the hospital or some shit. Because Jody, he mixes his stories up. Like
you ain't gonna cause it Facebook.
He'll say some shit crazy, and then you'll be like, Jody, no. And then you hear something similar to what he said, but he done made a movie out of it.
It's Facebook, man. Like when Starr she yesterday seen something about it, but you posted on Facebook. I said I'll go check the site, and then I see like on news that Fox News.
That's what somebody when they came in yesterday.
And then they said on there to go check the website. I went on the district website.
Everybody saw it, called it, and then I don't never check. I just wait and let them do all the checking. The only time I check is like Maureen said, can you find out such and such for me? But I let them do all the checking.
I'm gonna do my ring ceremony.
4,000.
164,000 worldwide. They won't tell you how many of them died.
Yeah, they will.
I know that.
They have worldwide 6,400.
6,000 worldwide.
470
364,000
cases, not deaths.
cases.
I wonder how many died in the United States. Because it was just around 40
like
something.
62 last I seen.
Because it was like 40 something. So 20 more than
But
that.
the majority of them is in Washington State.
Yeah. I didn't know they had that many damn old folks homes up there.
Yeah.
They say that's basically Washington State.
Who dies from Washington State?
Yeah.
This is February 24th. And 3 weeks ago,
Oh, pass it.
we highlighted China, Iran, Italy, and the United States. Here in China, 3 weeks ago, we had about 78,000 cases. And Iran, it was only 61.
Oh.
In Italy, 3 weeks ago, it was 229, and here in the U.S., it was 53. Now, 2 weeks ago today, we changed this map to show you how they adjust. About 80,000 in China. Look what's happened is in Iran and Italy. And Iran,
and
2,300,
mass grave.
361. So you jumped to 2,300 in Iran. In Italy, it was
They don't bother in the
229.
military.
2,000. They going from 60 to 2,000.
64 up from 53, so we jumped up about 11. But again, as you just heard from Dr. Fauci a moment ago, these numbers are going to change in the U.S. once they start to continue more testing here. Now, I want to take you 2 weeks ago. So now we're on March 9th. A week ago today, I should say. And again, you're right around 80,000 in China. So just watch this part of your screen here, okay? 2 weeks ago, 80,000. 3 weeks ago,
Can't
77,000. So the numbers in China have been somewhat consistent.
I'm sorry.
However, in Iran, look what you do here. You go up 3 times in Iran. In Italy, from 9,200 the week prior to 2,000. So again, that's about 3.5 times from the week prior. In the U.S., from 53 to 64 cases here in the U.S. Now, you come up to today, March 16th. And again, the number around China is still about the same. But look what happens here in Iran, Harris. There are 14,000.
They say Europe is
double
new
from what was reported just a week ago.
13,000.
In Italy, you're almost at 25,000 cases today.
Cause they said in Iran, they took the foreign ministers, they didn't do nothing. Tell people to close the shop down together and all that. Motherfuckers ain't do it. So they brought in the military. You know, our military can sit on down there and play.
Now, you can find different information, and you can find, let me just shift here and show you one more thing. You can find it, what we're trying to do is how we can put all this information, all these numbers together. So we're working with the World Health Organization. We're working with Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland as well. And what they're doing is they're trying to tabulate the numbers around the world. The deep red is the most severe cases. China, over here in Iran, Europe now, big concern, and also here in the United States. So Harris, we're going to watch this and we'll take you through the numbers as we tabulate them. But again, I want to point out, 175,000 confirmed. You have 77,000 recovered thus far. Harris, that's
I get my ring though.
When you think about the White House,
They flash them off.
Saturday,
But you can't wear
those
them.
who were tested in South Korea, 96% have come back
I
negative.
got like 3
Yeah, we hope to
rings.
that.
Yeah, we also
And I have
look
6.
at other number that I said off the top of this hour, very good recovery. That's extremely important as well.
No doubt.
So,
All of it.
Great job, Bill. Thank you. A government official is telling the Associated Press the first participant in a clinical trial for a potential coronavirus vaccine will receive an experimental dose today. However, the Surgeon General
It says volunteers that will test the
a vaccine on the volunteer.
What people need to know is a vaccine's not going to save the day, at least this first go round. The vaccine will be helpful if we can get it developed, assuming coronavirus comes back again next year and next season.
Oh, heat.
That, of course, keeping
Kills.
what many
Steams
doctors
it down.
have
Yeah.
It's just like flu. That's why you don't get sick doing something too much. So that's what they're working on, trying to next year coming in. Flu season and all that kick in next year.
Yeah, cause they don't change from that last like metal and shit for like 3 hours or something like that.
It's this thing.
And then they say they talking about something when they were saying this shit. I thought they were saying this.
But I think about these avenues to kill that one Clorox shit.
It's got motherfuckers drinking. You know this shit motherfuckers drinking Clorox. They had to do a big ass post. Do not drink
One
this
of the
shit.
white man, like wipe shit out kids
I
in
live
like 30
in
seconds.
a small town, Marion, Texas. It's right outside of San Antonio.
Yes, you
And I've
don't.
only heard of 3 cases right now. And I'm wondering how the coronavirus is so much worse than the flu.
Doc Siegel, would you like to take that?
Get that out of here.
It's interesting because she's in San Antonio, Texas.
Paul George back.
Maybe there's more social distancing there to begin with. The weather, I feel, may play a role. But the way it's worse than the flu is one of the vaccines.
I'm sorry, but I did drink this.
Antiviral treatment like we have for the flu. And we're seeing a fairly large percentage of cases, especially in elderly people and people with severe co-illnesses, like heart disease, like severe lung disease, like diabetes. These patients, and cancer, these patients are getting very sick with this virus, and they develop a certain kind of viral pneumonia that can be life-threatening. And we're seeing more people die right now, as far as we know. So the severe complications of this virus are what bothers us.
You know, one thing that I like about your question, Councilman, before we let you go, is that you're alluding to the fact that we really haven't paid much attention to the flu.
Lucky.
And it has killed a fair amount of Americans this year, as it does every year. Thank you for your question from Marion, Texas. Jody.
Don't play with my
She asked, what
buttons.
is the treatment
Don't push
for
my buttons.
COVID-19? Dr. Sapphire?
Well, we don't actually have a known treatment right now. And that actually is
Don't push my buttons. Put it down.
Panic going on. So the flu, it's the same thing, but we do have an antiviral
3 blocks, 12
to
points.
work for that. There are actually clinical trials right now for various antivirals to see its effectiveness against COVID-19. They're also testing out utilizing antibodies from those people that have recovered to see if we can instill that into currently active infections to see if it helps. And, you know, everyone's kind of trying various different things right now. There's HIV drugs, Ebola drugs, and various other drugs being utilized to see if it potentially can help us get through this pandemic.
All right, Dr. Thompson-Phillips, I'll come to you first. Next round, everybody.
You see, every recipe,
Run for it. You know you want to run for it.
way to show your love. Think what, Dan?
Oh. You didn't see that.
I mean, I can't believe that the Houston Texans would make this move.
Take.
People are going to say one of two things.
I was gonna put my team takeover. They gay for that. They are so gay for that. So I'm finna body y'all. Telling you, I'm finna body y'all. That is so gay. I just lost my takeover.
And the Houston Texans dangerously coming close to wasting his young years because he's been beat up a bunch on the offensive line. Now you're taking away his most trusted weapon, and we could sit there and say that
Now it's team takeover time.
didn't get along or had some issues. He's on the verge of having a lot of issues, Bill O'Brien, with his quarterback, because I can't imagine Deshaun Watson can sit there and be okay with this move.
When you look at, we talked to Mike Tannenbaum a little earlier. He said they actually think that it is a win-win situation, that maybe there was some concern as to whether they...
5G phones and the top-performing network ready for you. To learn more, visit SpectrumMobile.com. I don't like having this back behind us. You're not able to see it, so I'm going to turn on some shadow detection back here so nothing can sneak up behind us. All right. George, you think you're the victim here? What? Yes. All right. Are you tormenting Dr. Oswald? Oh, shadow text behind us, dude. If anything is going to trigger something, man, this is going to do it. What about this? It's big enough to go on the shoe? How would I describe overpaid on a used car? It's humid. They're 8 for $1.
What? These are good. It's crispy and it's golden. When you like see a tab like that, you don't expect them to taste this good.
Yup, 8 delicious nuggets for just $1. Your way. Wait. Congested online and at these
Don't you call it waste of time. Take over your stupid time out.
People who apply with our smart approval machine. Or say hello. Even if the credit isn't great,
You can get approved.
go to darktime.com, get approved, and see if you qualify.
Something that you haven't even told me. I'm not saying that I necessarily want to have kids right now, but how you gonna fulfill marriage and you don't want to have kids at all? We talking about marriage. Well, we've talked about marriage. We've talked about it,
What?
and I feel
I'm
like
on you like glue.
so close, but then
Travel.
now you don't want to have kids, and then we have the argument about me pouring drinks on women and you not wanting to have kids. It's kind of like evil right now.
Oh man, this game.
Them Hopkins come from Turkey.
Huh?
Gonna drink hot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they trading them and they said that's a dumbass.
Yeah, it is. To the fucking car. For they running back. Man, he ain't that fucking good.
No, he is, but he been hurt.
He ain't that. He don't run
Shit,
hard,
his
man.
first year.
Yeah, I remember that first. That's it. That's all you don't hear. That first year.
He got hurt in the Carolina Panther game in the playoffs.
But that's still a dumb move. You remember I was telling you, Cleveland traded Odell to Green Bay.
I thought it was the Raiders.
It was Green Bay.
It was Oakland.
Well, he ain't going nowhere from what they was talking about. He's still in Cleveland.
I don't know, but they
Cause Cleveland just got a tight end.
He gonna be the highest paid tight end.
And they just said they gonna have 2 tight ends and Odell on the outside.
And what's his name?
The other little dude who played with him.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry. New season is supposed to be coming. I don't know if it's tonight or not.
Did y'all see that sex tape over there? Right?
Yeah, Stevie J.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all this shit, but they found out they released.
Yeah. And that was a made video. That wasn't no home shit.
What they did, they didn't have enough footage. So when they sold it, they went back and filmed more to add to it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. There you go, right there.
What about this
New season, Kurt Rashid 20th anniversary celebration built around Alexis Scott, this show right here went fucking ham when it first came out. Because you know the first one was New York. Problem area.
Booker sucks.
I heard it from Cardo shit.
But the bus came down earlier. It blew
School
them
bus,
off.
I heard a horn out there blowing and I heard you say school bus.
I don't even know why.
Exactly.
They was 16th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Oh, big girl and Trip. And that's what Trip. That's on what's her name? No, that's on what's her name? Tiny's friend girl.
Oh yeah, they brought her on.
Huh.
Yeah, she is.
But she quiet on that. She ain't like she was on T.I.'s show. I wonder if him and Tiny got back together.
Yeah, parked up in the favor, but they were still being separate places. You know, T.I. went to jail for trespassing or something else, disorderly conduct. Yeah, the gated community, and Tiny even called out into the security guard, told him, yeah, he stay there, dude, and T.I. like he was sleeping, he first got there to do security guard, and T.I. was about a little lit too. Then he was raised hell in the motherfucking jail.
I ain't see that. I ain't see that. You can tell all these people don't went Hollywood from the beginning of when you seen them.
And then these girls who got ass, that's why I say love to hip hop asses.
Yep.
But you ain't never seen her with a dude.
T.I., that girl who was with Tiny, no? You don't?
She did hair.
Yeah. She seemed like she would be down to it. Like she wouldn't be too Hollywood. That look like hell to me.
I like her skin. This thing that good either.
She was that
Right there.
yeah, that house party shit. What's raining?
Oh, Daddy! Oh, Lord! I broke his ankle. I broke his ankles.
Hold that on.
Man! That's gay. I broke something. You don't want none of this, Booker. You next. Sorry, Dad. And I did a 5 flashy pass to what's his name? Paul George. Bro, I wasn't even ready. That's good. Alright, you next. Come on, Paul. Who wants some? Ugh. Don't make me. Oh, you want some? Ugh. That's gay.
Hey, you know that's Jalen Rose's wife who does show it on First Take with Stephen and Matt.
Ooh, you guessed.
She ain't white, she was Latino or something.
No, that's Jalen Rose's wife?
Yeah, because
Damn!
you know, a lot of people went in what's his name, Bald, Little Bald Daddy.
Yeah.
He's making these comments for us.
He make comments for us.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of people knew about that shit, but that's when I found out it was Jalen Rose's wife.
Hell yeah, she is before. Damn, I didn't know that was Jaden's wife.
Bro. Oh! I'm putting all these people's ankles on the floor, I swear. Oh!
He's famous for that goddamn NBA though. He was part of that
Yeah, from Michigan.
Here's Weber.
Call the time out.
People ready to kill that man shit, boy.
Steve A, did you see that this morning? What? Listen. He said, wash your damn hands.
I like that. 43 points.
He started coughing out there.
1 steal and 4 blocks.
He got too amped up.
Yeah, he started coughing. He couldn't stop talking. And they was talking about, the draft gonna go on, but it ain't gonna be too public. But they still talking about bringing the players out there and all that.
Do that shit from home.
Yeah.
They said to do it from their war room.
That's how I would do it if I was in the NFL. I set cameras up in every war room.
And I will bring the cameras to Vegas and let the commissioner, like you do first 2 rounds.
No,
But I got just first round.
Yeah,
Bring your ass out there, get on stage to the first round, let them record. Because it's people gonna watch regardless, like Steve Rich said. All them damn people that be there at the draft is for the first round.
Yeah.
He said a lot of them still be there after that, but he said the majority of them is there for the first round.
I would take and have a player, but they had to be tested.
But I wouldn't post.
I have a player from every team. Dealt with the commission, but they all have to be tested. We would all be tested to make sure.
And you know the NFL got that kind of money.
Yeah, they do. Oh, they probably let them test everybody.
You see,
probably let them test.
another basketball player that's a college.
And none of them better be Curry. None of them better be Curry.
That Gobert and this dude got into it. The ref broke up for that ref and had that's the reason why telling people when you come out down. Because that ref with that game.
They show what's his name though when they talked to him, Donovan Mitchell. They showed it.
Oh my
I swear if
you do practice. Like you're gonna be the fuck around this dude. Like
and then like they said, that man like he said, man, he done been on that. He just didn't take it serious.
he didn't know. Like
yeah, he didn't know. They got like he doing the shit on purpose to be mean or some shit.
They talking about that white dude, the expert was talking about how Sean Watson was mad about that trade. He already getting banged up in that offensive line. He taking away his best weapon. But
they thinking that other black dude who look like he white with the dreads like DeAndre gonna take his place.
Well, he came out thinking he might go after Mark Cooper. But like that wasn't the case. DeAndre Hopkins came in the same league. Mark Cooper, but I watched DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, and I see how he played.
You know what I'm saying? And he played with Sean too. Like that first year, I think when Deshaun came in as a freshman.
Wide open in the corner. They're down by 30 points.
See the kids missing all that shit.
Yeah, especially the seniors. Like them one and done motherfuckers. They don't really give a fuck. I mean, they like went to the tournament, but they one and done. It's seniors that ain't got here getting this shit. But they trying to advance NCAA, so they looking into it, maybe. Making them another year.
And because they catching a lot of slack from people, man.
The boys ain't coming back. So they can enter they sell. I mean, I wasn't involved with the scene. Don't get that goddamn money.
They say the ones who would come back would be the ones who, like, don't go play ball in Europe or don't make it to the NBA.
But right now, you don't want to go over there. Because they say Europe is the new epic center. You seen how China stayed. Yeah.
But they say they using some kind of nuclear shit.
They, you know, they try to blame us because they had troops over there in the same province, but it broke out. And now they're talking about they might find the first person that caught it. But
yeah, they were saying we brought it. That pissed Trump out too. They said we brought it.
Trump said we know where it comes from.
Yeah, yeah, that's how he said it too. He said we know where it comes from.
But they say it's a fucking some kind of site there in Wuhan. They think China did it, you know, intentionally, because they're trying to weaponize it. Because coronavirus been out since 1930 something. This is a new fucking strain.
A stupid motherfucker who's mad. That should have been fine. Look at that shit. And he couldn't even see over dude. He just shot that shit.
And that could have been a foul too.
Yeah.
There ain't no rap gonna call that though. This girl from Oregon, man, this was her last year.
She was out there.
And she was, they showed her crown when Kobe died.
Yeah, that she was at the she spoke at his, what's her name?
She was, an introvert or something.
Yeah, she, played, at, the Mamba Center.
This glove just for his facial hair. First and sophomore, that was
days on the side of my life. Yeah.
That baseball tournament ain't issue. You coming with school closing down here.
It ain't coming.
And the governor just announced in New York statewide school closing.
Yep.
They go to school in the snow. That's stupid.
Mayor, or was it the governor who decided this shit here?
The governor. McAllister.
I don't even know who our governor is.
McAllister.
Well, I worked with the skillet though. The mayor coming in, he's all the time. I can tell you what it is.
Dang, why you fouling, bro? We up by like 4.
So this is him saying there's nothing like a good book, especially with reading to my little brother.
I'm finna be up by 4.
Quality time, so certainly bright side of keeping ever the optimist and saying that we cannot play this and hang out with the
He's gonna be a pretty good side boy too. My brother.
Think Tom Brady go somewhere?
If he go anywhere,
They saying Tampa Bay.
I think it'll be the Chargers or the Raiders. That's what I think.
Gruden put for him.
It'll be the Chargers or the Raiders.
Legal tampering. Instantly.
Yeah, they can do it.
No, it started today.
Today.
Legal tampering for the top two. I can't believe they did that. Well, they got to July 15th to make you do a contract.
Daddy, we are up by 40. They are the sorriest team in the league, I'm starting to think. 43. Ooh. Okay, that range was a little deep. Get that, that's like the 5th steal. 65.3 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks, and 3 steals. This is my best game yet. And I'm still trying to get to 100. Go. Go. I want you to go. What the?
Yeah, it's fucking chilly, boy. Just a goddamn wonder. It's cold right there.
Which also marks the beginning of free agency. You take a look at our free agency big board. So many big names out there. Teams are free to negotiate as of noon today. It's referred to as legal tampering. No deal official until Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. All hands on watch and on deck. Free agency class. This is the sports news that we've all been waiting for. Like, isn't everybody at home been saying there's nothing to watch on TV? Now you definitely have something. It's a welcome distraction. As we all feel the impact of COVID-19, the best team in the business, here for us.
Bitch, I can smack something in 5 seconds.
Out there, we'll get to everybody. We're here for the next handful of hours to follow everything in all perspectives.
Bro, why? I'm gonna beat it. Try it. Ooh, I was right there. If you would have 1 second, he would try it. They tried that. We beat this stuff like 3 times. I have like a B minus. Oh, I already know which one it is. It's the one where I throw it up and he jams it. Nah. His first shot back. And it was a 5 shot.
It's NFL free agency like you've never seen it before.
Here we go. 9 a.m. Eastern, the franchise tag deadline, 9 teams tagged up. The Cowboys with the exclusive tag on Dak Prescott, meaning that no team
You gonna leave me open? Okay.
to be away from the Cowboys. Others tagged into the rushing camp.
I get a second chance.
And the host pass rusher that is the case is Chris Jones and Shaq Barrett. None of those surprises. As we get started here, let's bring in Adam Schefter, Adam, Cardinals, and Texans. Busy, take us through the blockbuster.
Oh, hello, 70 popcorn. Wow, stop. No. You won't. Yeah, you won't. That's the gayest shot ever. That court, Daddy, look at the score. We beating them by like 50 almost. Oh, I'm finna do the Lakers in. I'm sorry. Oh, that's over. Look at that. Oh, I got 85 points. Let's count 85 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks, and 3 steals. And half of these are like half-court shots. I got like 50.
You see that big ass deal Taylor Hall got?
Yeah. That's what
I'm telling you. No, they ain't gonna go out Tom Brady now.
That's why I'm saying he ain't going to. What's his name? And that's what made Stephen A. go out. Snoop was on first take.
He was on the phone. You know, ain't nobody in the office. Like, they was all doing the video thing. Everybody was on them. Stephen A. was somewhere else. But Snoop said if it was Tony Romo, he said he'd miss time.
He said he had a lot of love for Tony. But they got the July 15th deal after that. Steve told him to sit it out.
Yeah, that's what Snoop said. He said motherfuckers didn't think Le'Veon Bell was for real. He says Dak gonna do the same thing.
I think Dak will though. Dak will.
Yeah, he plays for the love of the game.
It wasn't never about money for him.
I think we went. I got to figure it out.
It wasn't about money for him because he didn't have a big contract.
I don't see him. I don't see nobody out there really who's going that crazy to get Cam. Cam's too much of a leader.
Can't throw. Like, I never wanted us to draft him in the motherfucking first place. Like, yeah, he can run and all that.
He's a big ass quarterback.
Yeah, but he cannot throw.
I knew that shit wasn't gonna last too much longer.
And then he only played in Auburn 1 year and just got lucky to go to the international championship. I think they went international. I know he got a high.
Yeah, because his first quarterback gonna be they'll win the national championship, be the first round draft pick and get the Heisman. And win rookie of the year. That's what it is. But he has won all the personal accolades.
I can tell you, as I sort of look at the traveling spouse later, State Department definition. But as I watch over her shoulder,
We have these trying to set up these testing centers here in Walgreens parking lot, CVS parking lot. Or you can go get tested.
It's a week to another week, maybe 2 weeks before we're going to control
wrong with us. We think we the shit. We don't believe in nothing. Like them old people coming in there, motherfucking, they in there laughing about motherfucking shit. Y'all the motherfuckers that pay the worst price.
Quickly, it looks like any sort of technical problems could be worked out as early as today even. Any thoughts on that since you oversaw that body for a while?
Congratulate Secretary Mnuchin on Saturday. The worst of flaws in the bill of rights. Anytime you want to take a look through and you file and not explain what I've read you vote on it, they have been very positive, and Kevin McCarthy and those leaders deserve a lot of credit. They worked out some technical corrections which I think are passed today. Under the time under this budget. But they'll pass sometime today. The Secretary Mnuchin was very responsive. Understood that there's some things that need fixed, particularly for small business. He also said something very important. The first bill was related to coping with the virus. This bill is the first step towards coping with the human beings who are responding to the virus. So it's very major change that not only by and we're still working. But this is that was the first thing in the ballgame. This is the second thing. We're going to have to have an economic impact that's very big because Europe is collapsing. And in order for
motherfuckers in these other countries, they be wearing masks and shit. Like, over here, we don't take nothing serious. Like I told you, these damn old folk coming in and they like, yo, boy. One man is joking about it.
Former Speaker Newt Gingrich, thank you. Take care of yourself and please give our best to Melissa. Thank you. Checking on the
Walmart employee.
falling after trading was halted this morning for a third time in 2 weeks. This after the Federal Reserve's latest interest rate cut failed to calm Wall Street's growing coronavirus fears. We're seeing a personnel
get on certain shit.
December 20th line from the New York Stock Exchange with the latest. Christina.
Start last night.
Hi, Dana. I'm going to be using your audio right now. I hope you can hear me. So this is the entrance to the New
Yeah,
York Stock Exchange.
let's talk about that one. But today for a fucking hour, because they closed at 12 now. They don't stay up 24 hours anymore. Not doing this press day. They still up 24 hours? They probably got a lot of this.
But no, they've been closing too. Restart.
But one farmer, they always they close at 12 by the time they open.
Oh, and I meant to tell Mama, yeah, that toilet tissue don't get shit. It's made out of China. They don't found the shit in toilet tissue.
I think China gave that shit on purpose.
A lot of people think.
I do. I think they did that shit.
And that's how they can curb it. They say there's a disease center right there in that property. In Wuhan province where it broke out at.
Yeah, I think they did.
Threatening us. And like 90% of antibiotics and all that shit comes from China. Too many goddamn foreign countries nowadays. That's what everybody
and that's why I'm down with Trump, because like he said, yeah, like when we started closing the mills, I knew it was down here. I knew it was fucking down here.
Yeah, because motherfucking China can go over there and
get it for half the price, get it made for half the price, make more profit. That's our biggest problem. We got greed. We are greedy, man. Like, we used to be known for some of the smartest motherfuckers in the world, like Bill Gates and them with computers and shit. That shit was created in the United States. Made in China, because it's cheap.
China is power.
Yeah. And we the one gave them the fucking power.
Dad, who did that?
Didn't realize.
China said, goddamn it, Trump said,
Trump the type, I kind of want him to get voted back in, because he the type that if we go into a trade war, the hood will come out, the redneck come out of Trump and he'll be like, fuck it. We open up some of our plants back here. Start making our own shit.
That's
Fuck
what
y'all.
got him. He wanted to bring back coal plants, steel, like he want to bring back all kinds of shit. Pharmaceuticals, like we got some of the smartest fucking scientists.
Yeah.
And China won't let none of our scientists come fuck over there.
Will be met during this closure. However,
Cause to get up to 80,000 and keep it there, and when everybody else jumping up, they know they do it. South Korea testing 200,000 people a day. See, we ain't nowhere near there.
As was said this morning on the call I
South
held
Korea
with
said we show you how to do
Governor
it.
Andrew Cuomo and Connecticut.
They say motherfucking North Korea, I just shut that down. I'm down with it.
That
That's
is.
And decisively.
North Korea
The
ain't
actions
got
I
there.
take are mirrored in many
They won't let
respects
nobody in
across
this country.
our three
Won't let
states.
nobody come in that motherfucking country.
In addition to that, I spoke with Governor
And Iran.
over the weekend.
Motherfuckers say,
Today in Pennsylvania, and I'm pleased to
I
hear
don't
that
wanna listen to us.
Pennsylvania will also be joining our regional efforts and taking similar steps to the ones I am announcing.
They told me that.
So, here goes and some other steps. All
Like that. Now I'm
non-essential
going to 12
and
minutes.
non-emergency travel in New Jersey is strongly
First
discouraged
time to trade.
between the hours of 8 p.m. and 5 p.m. daily,
Africa,
effective
they
this
probably
evening,
like,
8 p.m.
fuck that
until further
coronavirus.
notice.
Motherfucker got
To be
Ebola
clear,
and shit
and I think
over
I may
there
have
in
contributed
Africa
to
and
this
shit. Like,
confusion over the weekend. This is not
because
the
they goddamn, we
curfew,
got more shit
but
to
it is
worry about than
strongly
goddamn.
recommended.
Hunger is worse.
And travel
People
is
dying
strongly
from famished
discouraged.
in these African
But if you
countries
don't
and
need to
shit
be on the
more
roads,
than
you should
people
not
dying
be
from
on the roads.
coronavirus.
If, alternatively, you are a healthcare worker or other employee essential to our response, we still need you to get to work and to the vital jobs you are doing. And from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you and recognize that
See,
you
they
are the
just
front
not.
lines in
Why
this
New
fight.
Jersey just not closing all
But for
schools
those
in
who
New
do
York
not
and we
need to be
did?
out, please,
They just
please,
not closing all
please
schools up
just
there. And New
stay
York is the
home.
highest place where it's at right now.
Businesses
That's why I couldn't understand why they want to bring that
play
basketball
a
tournament
direct
down
role
here.
in our
Like,
response efforts.
even though kids ain't showing
Necessary
symptoms, they
for the
carry it.
public's health, safety, and welfare, such as supermarkets and grocery stores, pharmacies, medical offices, and gas stations, among a very limited list.
All non-essential travel is
Those
discouraged.
entities
See,
may
we won't do
remain
nothing.
open
If these
past
motherfuckers
8
get out
p.m.
and say discouraged. I mean, please don't do
All
it.
casinos,
But motherfuckers over here like, fuck you, we gon'
Yeah.
do it.
See, they need to change that
Yeah.
from it's discouraged to all that. It's
Don't do it.
Yeah, you right. You can't do
will
it.
also close entirely.
Do it. We got a place. We'll put your ass in quarantine. Where you'll set your ass
They
there.
already currently closed restaurants.
Oh, I know
bars.
visiting. They did in Ohio. I told you last night. They did something in Ohio. Over there working.
You know down here, you can't go see nobody in prison.
Yeah, South Carolina had no
Effective
visitation.
8 p.m. tonight until such time that it is deemed safe for their
It's
reopening.
a supermarket, pharmacy, and gas station.
Good news is online gaming will continue.
Come
Bad
back
news
and
is
check.
not much to wager on.
All
All
betting, but
non-essential retail,
Yeah.
recreational,
what you gonna fucking bet on?
businesses
There ain't no fucking sports going on.
They gonna come up with something for motherfuckers to
every
bet.
day beginning this evening.
I tell you, I guarantee you, in Vegas they bet on this.
And during
I
But they
guarantee you.
just close casinos and hotels in
businesses
Vegas.
may remain open, but
That's
only if
just
they
a lot of
limit
people
their
out.
occupancy
Gyms,
to no
fields,
more than
casinos,
50
clubs will close
persons
at 8 p.m.
and adhere to social distancing guidelines. Again, I want to repeat this.
That's starting
All other
today.
non-essential retail,
Jersey.
recreational, and entertainment businesses must close by 8 p.m. every day, beginning today. And in addition, during daytime hours, those businesses may remain open if they limit their
NBA still trying to bring
occupancy
this
to no
shit back.
more
Talking about
than
maybe
50
June.
persons and they adhere
Right, what
to
back?
the 6
Cause it was gonna be like
social
basketball.
distancing guidelines.
Oh, NBA? Yeah.
All bars and
Well,
restaurants
now they
are
say,
closed
cause they don't move there but from
services
April
effective
down to
8
June,
p.m.
that they
this
scared the
evening
season gonna
until
end
further
up ending.
notice. After 8 p.m. and until further notice, these establishments may open for takeout and delivery orders only. These restrictions will be in place during
And these
daytime as
doctors
well.
and shit telling me,
Again, I
if you
repeat,
ain't got
just
to, don't
because
go
I want
to
to
the
make sure there's no
restaurant.
confusion, all bars and restaurants are closed
Mama
for
said where
eat-in
they take the money
services
to make
in the entirety of New Jersey effective 8 p.m. this evening
Everybody
until
copy
further
the
notice.
network.
After 8 p.m., not just this evening, but other evenings, and until further notice, these establishments may be open for takeout and delivery orders only. And these restrictions will be in place during daytime hours.
But the first shift, they so nasty, they throw plates up there with
All gatherings of 50
in the store that's still on there, like, and then I go in there and in the damn sink, all that motherfucking nasty shit sitting there. And they have every fucking goddamn dishwasher up last week.
What she do?
She gonna try to bring away, which you ain't supposed to have separate close to it. But where I can she turned on the garbage clothes and just dumped the goddamn shit out of the bus up and spoon in that motherfucker. Well, Jerry got it out. It took a minute though. Like it wrapped another, and they said she kept turning on, trying to get it out, and it wrapped. Like the big part, the spoon part, he broke it and got it out. It was the long handle that went in the side slot and wrapped around that motherfucker. Then I come in there, she said, can you do that? I grabbed it with a vice grip. Try. I said, I said, shit, no, I'm not gonna try it either. Like, I didn't do it. She stayed there for like a fucking hour. Trying to get called Johnny Cole, goddamn it. Get it fixed. That motherfucker on for like a month and a half. Yeah. On a month and 5 horses and friends.
This shit out here floating around his old ass out there.
He like 80 years old.
I know.
On communities and on local businesses. But at this
That's what
moment,
it's gonna be. DoorDash, Uber,
I ain't
deliver all that. They finna look at ass up.
of new cases.
I'm not paying that. Man, for what you pay for them to deliver, you can get a whole nother meal for it.
Yeah. Get your ass in the car, go get that shit.
I just cook.
Yeah, that's it.
Go to the grocery store if you gotta go every day. Go to the grocery store, get something, cook it.
So I told her this shit. Sunday shit. It's like, I was sad. No, I was sad.
It was very obvious from what we all saw over the weekend that not enough New Jerseyans
You don't want to
are
stop,
taking
no.
to heart the need for social distancing that is absolutely vital to our flatlining the curve and keeping ahead of this public health emergency.
Sad. I
There
grew
is
up on
no
that shit.
reason
I'm sad.
that anyone should run the risk of infecting friends and loved
Like,
ones
mama
in
didn't
their
cook on those
communities,
things.
Oh, sad.
especially those
Grandma cooked
who may be
Monday
most
through fucking
vulnerable to
Sunday. Sad it was
coronavirus.
the one day she didn't cook.
I know, I'm a Murphy.
And then Sunday she didn't cook if they left church.
I know people
Yeah.
wanted
And when I could rise or something, but that was like Ann and all them talking her into going.
been considering going out to a bar.
Keep
Even if
trying.
you feel
Harder.
completely healthy, could still be a carrier of
And I
coronavirus.
can't understand. Bet you find liquor store in the hood, it she look good flying off
Setting
the
this
shelf.
one out
Yeah.
could
They
be
say got them in fine
for
liquor
you
on the
or
shelf. The
someone you
pink
love
pine got them
to
touch.
actually making it to
Some
them.
people don't understand. Like, I don't drink, but I drink.
We
Now,
all must play our
because alcohol kills fucking
Yeah, I
drinking.
know. See, a lot of people been making their own hand sanitizer out of regular shit, but it's only 40% alcohol.
Tell
They
you
say
what
it
you
gotta
do.
be at least 60%.
What you do, like I told him at work, it's like, if you can't buy sanitizer, what you gonna do? I say, go get you a cheap bottle of lotion, and go buy you 2 or 3 bottles of fucking rubbing alcohol. Or have that lotion out, put that rubbing alcohol in there, shake that shit up, I've done
They
it.
been price gouging on that shit, but when Trump did that national emergency, and he said price gouging, because motherfucker was charging arm and leg for
Oh,
15
man.
sanitizer.
Yeah, you price.
Especially online. You can't do nothing about that online, but major stores doing that shit.
We need to put, just as I have said, and will continue to say, this is no time to panic. It still is no time to panic. It's time for smart, intelligent, aggressive, proactive action.
You'll still
And
see
just as
people out
that
there
is
in New
true,
Jersey, though. You said that
it is equally as
riding
true.
around doing
This is
their thing
not
and shit.
time for business as usual. The amount of anecdotes that we get, everything on one end from bars you literally can't get into over the weekend, to not one single roll of toilet paper left in the entire state. We got to bring radically, dramatically, and immediately that behavior on both ends into a more equitable,
Yeah, like all that about that motherfucker, they can make a law, you don't get so much politician there and all that shit. Cause motherfucker, they just don't pick this shit, motherfucker got
Budget.
stacked.
Yeah, budget.
Motherfuckers fighting over goddamn politics.
Yeah, they got into a fight over
And
it.
like he just said, like, what the purpose in that bullshit? Like, just think smart,
Like
stay your
toilet-
fucking ass at home.
And like toilet paper, the cure.
both in humanity as well as
And
economic.
then all these masks and shit getting sold out. I ain't seen not damn motherfuckers like they wearing them, so where the fuck they going?
That notion, breaking news. This is real. On behalf of all of us. If we don't have this right, if we're not accurate about this, it's on me. This is real. Stop believing folks who say it isn't real. Another bigger group of people who think that they're impenetrable, that it's not going to affect them.
That's the problem right there with us.
Waka Flocka said some stupid shit.
I would just say you and each and every one of you
How
out
many
there,
niggas you know saying?
this is
I'll say it's some fake shit floating around that somebody put out on YouTube.
Black
They
people.
won't affect black people. Yeah. But that should stop you, Dominique. Goddamn, Robert Gore, motherfucker, call it like that. Should kill your way of thinking.
The range of the ages of the new cases in a moment, you may be asymptomatic but carrying coronavirus. To think about that, you're cavalier, you're in a bar, you're in
When the hell I be going to
party
gym
house
right now?
somewhere.
No,
You
sweat
get really
and
good,
shit.
really healthy.
People don't sweat all over there. That
Shit,
shit.
machine and shit. No.
Go home and do some damn push-ups. Sit ups and shit.
Or an uncle and aunt, or a teacher who may be more vulnerable.
See, and that's the thing what they're trying to tell you. Like, it ain't that you're gonna catch it.
Yeah, and it ain't it kill you.
Yeah,
But you can give it to somebody else that it will kill.
Especially old people. That's why right now you can't go get it.
No, you don't. No, it's not.
And it's on me if we prove this.
That's why they said if you get any symptoms, call the hospital, tell them so they can have you come in a certain way where it won't affect anybody else. It may not even affect you. You know, if you come in for something else to be tested. That's why they're trying to set up all these testing centers so you can just drive up, get tested. They're talking about putting in Walgreens, CVS, parking lots and shit like that. Just drive up, get tested because it's swabs. But it's uncomfortable. Because one swab is back, you got to stick it down your goddamn throat and rub it. And the other one's in it that they stick all the way up your goddamn nose. And Star said they do that for flu.
In this case, an hour or two ago was the
Because
governor's video.
Star, she went when I was sick. When she started getting sick and shit.
President, Vice
Like they
President
go right in the goddamn states and shit. She was dehydrated, really dehydrated. She went to the hospital and they gave her one. They gave her a Z-Pack, gave her fluids and shit.
Colonel Callahan will give additional
See, I
details
knew I was
on
dehydrated. I
this,
stayed
I think,
dehydrated.
positive
I don't
development in a few
know.
minutes. On our call today, I pressed the President and Vice
Like,
President and their
even people who drink soda, they drink
personal
enough of
protective
it.
equipment
I was drinking soda
for
yesterday.
frontline public health workers, for more on-the-ground
Oh, I do it every day at work. I drink 2 or 3 cups of soda and that thing on my back start hurting. I go get a goddamn water. And then it helps cool my body down too because I get the sweat in my face and all of
And then after you done drunk the sodas all day, that water tastes so goddamn good.
And then see, I'm smart too. Like when I drink Red Bull, I don't drink no soda. When I done my Red Bull, I drink water. And like you said, it tastes so goddamn good. It's so fucking hot in there.
I like it. He said, it's not time to think, but it's time to be smart and aggressive.
He said, this ain't no fake news. He said, you got these group of people that think they can't be like, you got some superheroes over there, motherfucker.
Yeah, you do. You got motherfuckers who actually think they real heroes.
And I always just go get some toilet tissue. I just feel to this day don't understand why teach kids to work, because I got taught when I was down the road how to use toilets. But down the road, they give you a roll. When the boys home, they rolled you off so much and say, here, wipe your ass with this. You had to like one roll over your head one time, break it, wipe your ass. So ever since I went down the road, I've been like that.
But see, in prison, you can buy your own shit. Me and my roommates, we kept rolls of toilet tissue. Like our locker,
Well, you gotta feel your tissue too. If it's that thick shit, you don't need a lot. You stop at the fucking toilet. You can feel it.
You ain't stopping at motherfuckers.
Them motherfuckers in jail. They stop me in toilets up.
I know it's stuff closed and covers.
I'm like, why are you doing that? That's your room.
Yeah.
Why you doing that?
Like they gonna open it to clean it out. What's there? What it's gonna do?
It still is gonna smell and all that shit. Why are you doing that nasty as fuck, man?
In prison, that's how we knew. That's how we knew when they was finna.
Yeah, that's the place right there that they need to get a handle on that shit. They might send somebody here to test you if you call and say you got symptoms. They might even send somebody out here to goddamn test you.
But
If I got food, I can quarantine my goddamn self.
Yeah.
And then they talking about how they gonna suspend your bills and shit. I don't know if it's true, but they talking about
power it. Yeah.
I think, man, you can criticize so much if you fucking take somebody's power off or something with this shit going on. And y'all, this power make enough fucking money where they can do that.
Yeah.
Goddamn, it's a power company. Like, you gotta have it. Like, you make all this goddamn money and y'all still go out and cut your power off and shit.
Like it's don't hurt.
But all of us have to recognize for the next several weeks, normal is not in our game plan. And I will be announcing both mandatory rules in this regard and a request for Washingtonians to understand that central premise.
Well, you are the governor. Bring in the goddamn National Guard. You got the power to shut this motherfucker down. Especially when Trump did a national emergency. Like, damn, your state is like the worst fucking state for deaths of this shit. Shut it the fuck down. Damn, Iran reported another 129 deaths on Monday. Largest one-day rise since it became valid. Like, that's crazy. Middle East worst outbreak, bringing a total of more than 850 confirmed deaths and at least 14,000 infected.
And so we need very strong measures to reduce the extent.
Lebanon has largely shut down. Iraq said it will implement the curfew starting late Tuesday. See, you get shot over in the Middle East. Israel
Ass out there wandering the streets.
and
Cause they already think you're spy, especially if you're from that fucking country.
especially over in Iran and fucking shit. Like, they won't even let people protest over there and shit. And they control the media. So they kill all you motherfuckers in you.
Won't nobody know about it.
Like, we got satellite images where they've been digging mass fucking burning the bodies and shit. People die.
They the type of country. Say this neighborhood kid. Motherfucker come to kill everything in the neighborhood. Door to door. Killing everything in every hour.
Especially with the commerce, saying that the time for business as usual.
If we can get to the summer with this shit,
It'll be alright.
the spring,
Yeah, we'll start warming
the
up.
hot water spring start warming up, we can be good.
From there. We also are going to hear in the
And then that's when I bet you all these motherfuckers who do extreme fraternity, and shit, they got that shit stacked up in their basement. People say they crazy as fuck. I bet you they laughing at you motherfuckers right now. They talk shit. Every fucking thing is stacked up. Motherfuckers get died in the dumpsters.
Oh, and the crazy motherfuckers who got these shelters and shit. Like, yeah, I bet you they said like, I told you.
It's coming.
Yeah. I guarantee you. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I guarantee
But
you.
this right here should show motherfucker what can happen. Be smart about your shit, man. Like, this ain't gonna kill off. You know that people, 1,000 people died in this time. And that's when the bombs and all that. They did that shit from us. Well, mosquitoes and shit. That scared me.
It scared me.
South.
And what scared me, like,
They said
mosquitoes got his
that's what he was talking about. And he said, don't try to have puddles of water nowhere standing. And that's just smart, because that's
what
mosquitoes.
you see that driveway up there, when it rains real bad, it's a dip in water.
That's why you go this
Peyton, this is how bad the mosquitoes eating him up. That motherfucker went to the train track. And he was gonna do it more than one. He had one of the white buttons like you wash your car with. He went to the train track and got it for a rock. And when he brought it back and pulled him in there, he was like, hell no, that's taking like 100 trips.
No, I'm talking about you get shit put around in your yard that kills and shit.
Well, that man something to exterminate out there. He could shit down snakes and rats and mosquitoes and
I don't think you'll stop that.
red. You can't. And red for ants too. Because it can be a lot of damn things back there. Yes, boy. You go up there and you walk through the yard in the summertime, in the back, what it called, that grass right there, you see it. Look like motherfuckers got red dots all in the grass.
You step in and they light your ass.
I took a whole bag of goddamn bricks.
I think it was last year. Just went outside and grits. Started spraying.
That shit out there, they were painting it. As soon as it rained, that boy swell that shit up. Oh my goddamn real. And then something else, we got a drug problem over here. Motherfuckers smoking after each other and all that shit. That's gonna spread.
Yep.
Like, they just don't realize, man.
It's all kind of shit.
A hard 20 after a hard day isn't for everyone. Waking up before the sun isn't for everyone. This isn't for everyone. But if this ain't for everyone,
About an hour, you gonna go find something to wear.
You taking it work with you?
Oh, you be doing it.
Yeah, you can say you ain't gotta go if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't got no school, so he get class.
That's
what I'm gonna do.
2 weeks.
Oh my God.
By the time these 2 weeks up, he won't be playing.
Cause he can
He ain't
tie.
gonna wore himself out. That's why I took it from him.
That's why I went on here and 5 weeks smoke games, like fishing.
That's why I ain't been playing mine while I work. But while I'm off, that's what I'm gonna do is sit here and
That's
play
what I'm
my
gonna do today.
goddamn game. You
What
see,
do
I
you
got
mean? Come on, I won't
two
play them.
games I can play.
No,
Even
that's
the
why
ones
got
I don't
no
beat,
smoke.
I go back and do mission, like especially my flying game. They just come back.
So I read now flying game last night because I can't do that shit.
They just come back 7, that motherfucker off the chain. Especially you don't unlock all these
I love
checks.
Hitman, man. I gotta get the whole shit. That's one of the games I'm gonna buy.
That's the problem, they got so many of them.
Yeah, I know. But I like all of them.
But I think as they start making them more, they start getting less hard too. Like, cause the first time I ever played Hitman, it might have been the first or second.
I played all of them.
Saying you will fail the mission if you get detected.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what the? I hate missions like that.
You can create save points,
Get
though.
out of there, don't make me fail cause I get
Well, my thing is, if you fail, make it hard where you gotta shoot your way out of it.
Yeah.
Like my military game, when you do stealth missions, some of them they'll fail you. Some of them, goddamn it, just the whole motherfucker come down on you. You just gotta shoot your fucking way out of it. See, that's how that game I got now. It's like that. And then one nigga got that I already got too. That Tom Clancy.
Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yeah. And if you get detected, they call in backup and everything. And
You fail sometimes. You fail sometimes.
When you get to 5 levels, they bring in helicopters.
I got the 5. And they would not leave me alone. I kill all of them and then spawn again.
I ain't been no guinea pig for that shit.
You already like, you'll kill everybody and they'll respawn more.
It's easy to get whiplash as these governors are having news conferences talking about things closing down, but they're really trying to force people apart, and so therefore they're shutting things down. At least 6 states, now 7, have completely shut down all dining in at restaurants and bars.
That's what I'm waiting
That's
on.
what they need to do.
I'm waiting on him, but that's gonna fucking kill us, though, boy. That's where our money come from. We're working like God Almighty, and that's why I'm telling people like right now why it ain't that bad. Stay fucking home so we don't spread it and they don't shut us down like that.
Actually, they're ending their seasons early. From Washington State to Utah to Colorado, major resorts are either forced to close.
That's why these old people, man, they're just goddamn lazy. Cook, motherfucker. And then they, these old white people trip me out. Refrigerator full of food. They still go out and eat.
I told Miss Pat, your grandkids, I don't know. Her son, she believed me because she said, my son came up here the night before last. And she said, I know it's serious. She said, because he asked me was my life and health insurance. I said, yeah, Miss Pat, this shit's serious.
Especially y'all old people.
Say it's serious.
Big Logan, I guess it's Junior. They talking about something about they want y'all old ass stay the fuck at home.
Yeah.
Like shit.
My brother Chris posted online. He said, y'all got this shit out here now. He said, motherfuckers, he said, y'all took God out of school.
Yeah, I see that.
And he was going, which is the truth. Like we used to say, the Pledge of Allegiance,
They don't do that shit
We
no
do
more.
it. Yeah, we do.
Y'all say pledge allegiance?
Yeah, they do pledge allegiance, but like
You say prayer before we eat.
Little T got in trouble for doing that at chapel.
Say prayer before we eat.
Yeah, and I told him, just say it on your breath. I said, but you bless your food.
That's right. That's crazy.
They
Took
do that
discipline out of
stuff.
school. Took discipline away from the
They do
parents.
announcements too. Morning announcements at Swafford. Afternoon classes.
That's why the generations, and see, it's a generational thing.
A lot of them don't believe in it.
But they don't do pledge
Oh,
allegiance.
shit.
They don't do the pledge allegiance and morning announcements until the second period.
I'm gonna test positive.
I feel okay. I have no symptoms so far, but have been isolated since I found
Yeah.
out about
They
my
do it
possible
during second
exposure
period,
to
10
the
o'clock.
virus. Stay home, people, and be
Almost
pragmatic. I will keep you updated on how I'm doing. Info. Again, that from actor Idris Elba announcing he has tested positive for COVID-19.
It ain't, man. And if you only gotta isolate yourself for 14 days, they tell you it ain't that bad, and it will go away. Like, just go home, take your medicine, you know, like you would do the fucking flu. It's just lasts longer. See, that's what got me. I don't know what I had. I don't know if it's flu, whatever, but I normally get rid of flu 3-4 days. Never had flu shit on me goddamn for never. But I always take my medicine, sweat it the fuck out. I went through so many motherfucking clothes, sweating that shit out. But I still couldn't goddamn get a handle on it, and I couldn't get my fever to break. That's what was making me sweat, because I had fever. And small thing to start, she slept in the goddamn living room.
That first night I had that motherfucker woke me up. She was like, I might get paid to take you to the emergency. She was like, cause I can't even lay here beside you.
Yeah, she started to do that regardless. If I'm sleeping out, she white. She was like, God damn, you put this out some fucking heat. But when I was sick, she was like, God damn, you hot.
Yeah, she was like, you burning it up.
She said it's making me sweat, laying here beside you.
As they come into the country, they're going to be seen by professionals. We're going to continue to do that from.
That's your phone?
Yeah.
Was there any patterns that you noticed?
What?
You heard reports that some things were uneven, like some passengers were just being able to go right through and others to help for a long time. But was there a pattern
Look at this
that you
coming.
found of
All these motherfuckers coming, because it ain't for like 12, 13 airports. That's letting you come through. Got to transfer from overseas, and you gotta be tested before they go ahead and get up and they look at them like you should have been your ass to fuck home. And they want to wait to Trump put a travel ban on this motherfucker shit. And they holler, oh, you wrong, saying we can't come back on. He never said Americans can never come the fuck back home. He just said put a travel ban for foreigners coming over here right now. Stay your fucking ass at home and stop going overseas and shit. Because that's how the fucking shit got here in the first place.
We want to make sure that we get this right, that we lean into it, and again are providing that security to the Americans.
Motherfuckers out there going overseas and shit.
I wouldn't the type that got into shit like that. I didn't go overseas.
Even if I flew, I don't want. Only place that I ever wanted to go overseas.
New York.
Fucking Africa. New York is not overseas, boy.
I know, but still. I'm from New York. I didn't know they had cars and electricity.
Ohio, Hawaii is not overseas. That's part of the United States.
But I didn't know they had cars and electricity.
But I wanted to go to anything. But now it's here. You don't have to. And then you can go right on to Colorado. You ain't even got to go to California. You can go to Colorado. And I was scared to go there because of mountains and shit. And I said, no, man, that shit's wet. Because you got to think, you ain't got to go to Denver, these high altitude places. As soon as you cross the fucking state line, and you find a goddamn, what's the name?
I wonder can you like go on vacation to Colorado? Buy that shit.
And bring it up, you know. I'll bring it up. You know, people over there busted, try to bring that shit back down here. And then people who don't stay in the States, you can only buy so much being out of town a day. They don't let you buy so much. So you can't go over there and buy a few pounds and goddamn try to bring the fuck back. But see, a lot of people don't, if you stay in the areas know it, but people like out here don't know it. When you driving to go do that shit, while you traveling out west, you get pulled for money. Yeah. And on your way back driving east, you get pulled for drugs.
Yep.
These police know what the fuck they doing. And then I don't see them motherfuckers pull people over and fine bank on them motherfuckers. Like, and they take your money.
We see a number of phishing campaigns and other scams.
That's the first place right there that they isolated a town. Negro shit in New York, that's like it was the epicenter of New York. They had the biggest cases. And he don't put them in these drive-through testing sites right there. But he brought in the National Guard, the governor of motherfucking New York. He said, we ain't there to like keep you, they're there to help you. But still basically saying,
You got them stupid motherfuckers who think they being punished.
oh yeah, the government won't let her leave and all that shit. You don't need to leave, man. You're gonna spray that shit everywhere. Stay the fuck at home. Especially don't travel out of state. That's why you understand they talking about bringing that tournament down here. Even though these kids and shit, but they can bring it down here, and these people that go to that fucking game and shit end up getting sick. And then they bring it back home and then they get sick.
Gathering of people.
I never understood that, man.
They saying something about it's dangerous if it's a place that like fit them over employees and shit like that.
That's why I want some people to come in the restaurant. But most of our
Half the people there are old.
Old. Stay fucking home.
Yeah, all your people there are
I don't
basically
give a fuck.
old.
They said we weren't even busy yesterday for lunch. And that's the day
I
that
know it's Sunday.
say we get rocked in that
People
motherfucker.
starting to take that shit serious.
I ain't losing. Mom said I ain't losing. Go to church yesterday. I was rainy. I think she said, told her just stay at home. You know, I ain't losing like 80 years old. Like, just stay the fuck at home. And you know she cook every day. And she probably don't even cook that way like that no more.
Anybody else?
Yeah. And then she telling them that I was thinking about moving back up here, and I tell her, why? You ain't got nobody up there but your two sisters. Like, you know, all the friends shit down there. Everybody up here was up friends shit. They dead and gone.
But like they say, her two sisters.
Bring your ass home.
That's it. Told mama the same thing.
I said, let them drive up here and see you. Y'all got to do it goddamn 2-3 times a year. And I used to do it all the time when mama go down there. I ain't even been to fucking Rome and I don't know how long.
Last time I've been to Rome was when they got their bus and went down.
My last time I went was when we went down there and stayed for state. I took Latina was a baby. Me, Mary, were you with us?
I think so.
My mama got her own spot.
Yeah, I did. Yep, that is. That's the last time I went.
My mom was staying down there. I ain't been down there since, and I want to see her.
I was gonna say,
But see, I didn't have to because they would come up here 2-3 times a year.
Yeah, when I was walking around.
why do you always have a band-aid on your teeth?
I got cut. I did this at your dad's job. You damn bit, so.
And then you fucked all the way up.
What?
The side that was facing out, them sides I sprayed. I ain't spray both sides. You pick the motherfuckers up all kind of way. You still see them. So yeah. But I fuck it. I clean them.
That's how I do.
Shit. Cause normally that the grease that we got, I poke the majority of that in a spray bottle, then the rest home. And I'll go out there and I'll spray the motherfucker down on both sides and let it sit and hit it with that hot water on that hole, have a bitch shine. But I'm starting to realize I'm doing too much for you motherfuckers, for y'all not to pay me enough.
That's me.
And then you don't give me the goddamn respect I deserve and recognition. So I'm gonna do the least amount of motherfucking shit I can do. Well then, I do the least amount of work I have to do.
Like last night, that old lady work. She always be like, I do my flow in the kitchen on the line, and she'll be like, you wanna go ahead and do my flow back here? You know, since I've been back, I'll be like, yes, man. And she's the old lady. Last night, I said, go ahead, everybody. Cause I've been this motherfucker all day. I said, don't ask me to do shit that I ain't supposed to do, cause I ain't doing
I'm
it.
supposed to mop at 9:45. Then they come out, oh, we don't want to walk on your floor. I said, I don't give a fuck, my job was to mop it, and that's all I'm supposed to do.
You give a fuck about y'all.
Y'all can walk that motherfucker to death.
I don't mop it.
And see, with all our managers we get, we don't go about that shit, because the managers be wanting to get the fuck about that motherfucker.
I told her, that's all I got. Got out of she hadn't even locked the goddamn door. I said, Kim, I'm finished. The girl said, oh, I have to get my trash. That's all I take her on my way out.
Yeah, Chelsea, me and Chelsea left yesterday. Yesterday? I mean, they were yesterday. Saturday. We done 9:30. That damn coach Tanya, we done. She said, bullshit. I said, go do your journey walk. I said, go check. She said, I ain't got to. She got to pull up all the cameras and check it. I said, you still see the shine on the floor where I'm out this motherfucker. Maybe he want me to put my back, man. I hit that motherfucker sideways. And I got this one. They come in and put that shine on the floor.
Yeah, that wax.
Because they got to mop that motherfucker first and get all the dirt up, and then they put that wax on there. I said, I got that shit from. I said, I ain't finna goddamn be scrubbing that. Then as soon as Eddie try to get me every fucking time, I come in there and it be something she been told to do. As soon as I come in there yesterday, she said, Tick, come out. Go tell me, you see the spot on the floor? Put some ammonia on it and scrub. That's okay. And anybody, and last time you tell me to scrub that shit, and then a lot of times Tony forget, and I still don't.
Kim lazy. That's why when she was closing last night, I said no. Because Friday night, I'm trying to leave. I don't took the trash out. She had locked the door. But there's 2 customers in there.
They official downplay rumors that national quarantine is on the horizon. It might be. If these motherfuckers don't take it serious,
they need to go ahead and just do it. And see, that's what I mean by our government being lazy.
Instead of saying to do this, U.S. service member test positive for it. I ain't worried about the military because they quarantine your motherfucker.
Yeah, I know it.
They'll lock you fuck down, send you to a goddamn base somewhere and tell you, you ain't going nowhere. You go and call your family and tell them you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, she ain't on top of just for customers. I'm banging on the door, I'm brought trash back, so I can go get my goddamn jacket and keys and go. I'm banging on the door, she's standing there, she, wait a minute. Wait my motherfucking hand!
What get me is you let these motherfuckers come in at a time.
I said, okay, wait. I found a customer. I said, we open the door for me, please. This old man opened the door. I went my ass on the door.
Coming in at motherfucking 9:30.
You got it. You got your SAM card? Hello? He got a SAM card. Yeah.
You have no control over, whether you have a heart attack or stroke or you're in an accident. The other element that we can do for each other is help each other out.
I ain't playing.
Medical Reserve Corps, which was a program to kind of augment the public health system, and I was involved in developing that. And really became clear we need to start a community reserve corps, basically letting communities work with each other. So what that means is that
I thought it just said this number is under.
Absolutely, wherever we can, helping each other out. Dr. Sarah Landmark, thank you so much. We'll stay in touch with you.
Oh, okay, he ain't got that far no more. Okay.
The country of Italy is on lockdown.
All right,
What
I got it.
singer is doing to help lift spirits. Up next.
Okay.
That's the problem I got with her. She want everybody to do everything for her. So she ain't got to do it. And then I was like, hey, like, why she ain't trying to get a life back tonight? It can call like $3,000. So, the last 2 or 3 goddamn years, you could have done fucking put that motherfucker, go on and pay that motherfucker.
She could have got it, instead of going out and buying a car and making fucking payments and shit like that. I'm like, you, that pissed me off.
Or like, she get like $3,000, $4,000 back, $5,000 back from you. Take a fucking $1,000, go pay some of the fines and shit off. Okay, bam, that's done.
She won't listen. Like, I tell her something.
But somebody else does the same thing.
Thank you.
Next year, go pay another $1,000. It might take you 3 fucking years, but then bam, you have your life back by now.
They have something every year, G.
Yeah. Where they kill your fucking reinstatement fees. As long as you qualify for it, she should qualify.
Yeah, because she ain't got no drug charge. All her was suspended. Well, was driving charge.
You got motherfucking lazy ass people don't want to do it or want to be stingy with their money.
I don't want to fucking listen.
But you cost yourself.
Motherfucker on TV can tell you something. The reality shows the shit, you think that shit real.
Yeah.
Kill me with that shit. Super Nanny. Super Nanny say don't do it. The fuck Super Nanny know about raising some niggas?
And that'd be that UK shit.
Yeah.
And it was over in the UK. Motherfucker, that country and this country are two totally different fucking countries.
You talking about a motherfucker they don't carry guns.
So, fuck you, no. And that'll never happen over here. First Amendment, that'll never fall, or the Second Amendment.
Second. Right there.
That'll never motherfucking happen. These people over here say, fuck you, come and take my goddamn gun and see what's gonna happen to you.
All out.
Like when I got busted, the motherfuckers got my 4 guns, I'm talking about, okay, these gone. I said, I own another gun. I said, I fucking promise you I own another gun. I said, you're not gonna tell me I can't protect me in mine. I said, I'm gonna go around shooting fucking people and shit. You know what I'm saying? I said, my gun's protection. And like I said, I'm gonna own another goddamn gun. Goddamn, I own a fucking arsenal if I had the fucking money. You wouldn't know a goddamn thing about it. You know, cut a hole in my damn floor and made a trap.
Running around shooting. They like, who the fuck that was last night?
They were clapping. They come from up that way.
There was one across the yard when Grandma was
Oh,
here.
coming from this way?
Yeah.
Well, I know it was out there. When you go to the end of the road, take the right, white train on left. And he's shooting like that. That's a new gun.
I'm hearing shit. Seeing if I hear hit something.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. They hit the trailer.
It's a new gun.
And then I heard it.
Oh, you went to it, yeah. God damn, man. And I don't understand what the fuck they shooting at. I know that.
Because New Year's Eve, I let mine off. They never shot that.
I got this.
And I've been had it for over damn near a year. I got it last year's tax. And we got back when we was here. Still had to work. She picked us up.
Yeah, he let like multiple off in the air. He let more than one.
It would do it again. I took it out. Hit my goddamn clip because it wouldn't release it up in there. And I went back out there and said,
Foul, foul, foul.
I'm loaded that motherfucker.
I want to let me shoot it. I ain't shot me this one. I just want to have something to. That's a good thing about doing it here and not in the city.
Well, see, the only reason I did it, the people in that little blue trailer right there,
right across the
pull
street
into
do
the
it.
yard right beside us, they don't move out. I don't care about Christians. They ain't gonna say anything. And the only people that can see me on my porch, let one out. So that's why I never let Lil T do it and all that. He wanna go out there and shoot goddamn guns. But we ain't legal, you dumb shit. Like get the police called the fuck over here. You can't have a damn gun, I can't have a damn gun.
And a time change. The White House Coronavirus Task Force moving up its briefing time to 3:15 Eastern. So about 20 minutes from now, we'll carry it for you live. An Italian tenor is finding a way to help lift spirits with his country on lockdown.
They do that over here, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up!
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Take your ass in the house somewhere.
Trying to watch fucking TV.
Cause if I got cable and shit or Wi-Fi, I'm fire stick. I see him binge watch on fucking all kind of shows. Like Star couldn't stand that shit. When I got in that motherfucking goddamn Game of Thrones. Cause I've been here and then the last season.
finished that Umbrella
TMZ. What?
Umbrella Academy?
No. See, I can go and get back on that. That's like a superhero show.
Umbrella Academy is fine. It's like 7 children.
See, you find out and see my fire stick got Netflix shows, Hulu shows, Prime, Amazon.
Yeah,
shows.
but half the apps on mine don't even blow.
Like every fucking show that comes on a TV, I can get it. Like I watched Hunters. I want to watch that whole season already. It's a new show that came on Amazon. Got Al Pacino. They all Jews and they hunt fucking Nazis. That done left the country. They come over here and got different identities and shit, and they was going hunting them motherfuckers.
I didn't realize that many motherfuckers from the Cold War that had came to the United States and changed their identity. Like, some of them
and see, this show
take
place back in the day, you know, and the Jews, all these Jews, they don't put the group together and they start hunting them motherfuckers.
They killed a bunch of them.
But then, the ending of it shocked the shit out of me. Al Pacino was a motherfucking Nazi. One that everybody knew about. He changed his name and became a fucking Jew. Learned Hebrew, every fucking thing. And the one who put the group together to hunt down the other Nazis. The kid.
He the one put the group together?
Yeah. The kid that he brought in, who grandma got killed by a Nazi, because she figured out who he was, she was part of that group too. brought him in, one who figured the fuck out. These motherfucking, they was trying to bring back the second right. That's the fucking movie that was done to Hitler that wasn't no motherfucking joke. Trying to bring it back and they was gonna put this shit in corn syrup. And it would affect every fucking body. And they stopped that plot. And then he came back and he just figured it out that he was the motherfucker. The wolf or whoever he was. And he killed his motherfucker ass.
He killed Al Pacino?
Yeah.
Don't play with me.
And Greeny, how about this? Timberwolves center Carl Anthony Towns announced that he's donating $100,000 to the Mayo Clinic, which has begun rolling out a test to detect the virus that causes COVID-19. In an Instagram post, Towns wrote in part, "Thank you to the Mayo Clinic workers and all healthcare workers who are working around the clock to treat us. You are our heroes. All in this together. Let's protect ourselves and the community around us." So well said.
And with that, I'll just repeat what I said off the top of the show. For more than 21 years now, as I have been on in the morning,
I know, man. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with something. I don't know what I'm gonna deal with. Doing something. Police gonna step it up. These motherfucking drug addicts gonna step it up.
Honest, it's gonna be up that way. That's what I'm out there.
It ain't just okay. Crack. Them motherfuckers right there off the chain.
That's alcohol.
No, they do drugs too, because you see motherfuckers that shouldn't be over there.
Yeah, well,
coming over there.
That be the bitches that's rolling them in over there. Told you, Miss was over there one night. Yep, he got limited options now.
I cannot believe he got that deal. And it wasn't that great in fucking Miami. I know he's
That's what Snoop was saying. Snoop was like, hell, he was on the bench in Miami.
And he came and then he took over in week 7. I mean,
And
he did good, but it was the running back.
And
they franchised his ass. And he led the NFL last year in rushing. See, Derrick Henry scared me. He come from Alabama. He played that motherfucker. It is hard to count that big motherfucker.
They swatted his stuff like 4 times before he got it off.
You heard it? Across the street. Yankees, minor leaguer.
Yeah, that's
It was a close game with the Lakers, I ain't gonna lie. They down by 3 to 4.
And hockey staff member testified. I wanted the Olympics to come.
No.
Now look, I ain't had no serving on the coastal public, but the Olympic torch relay in Greece, oh well, it's canceled.
Yeah, I told you.
But they said so.
They said something. I just know because they said something about they lit the flame and then they put it out.
And the game starts July 24th, bro. There's no May deadline to cancel games. And I hope they don't, man. Like, I love these Summer Olympics. Like, that's my favorite fucking one. Well, I like some of them. Snowboarding when they doing them tricks off them half pipes and shit. I even watch U.S. playing hockey a little bit. You know, what else they got in this shit? I watch gymnastics if we get to the finals in summer, and ice skate if we get to the final in summer. It's whatever we get to.
Did you watch?
Yeah, we got a chance shot at medaling, I'll watch it. I don't understand why you think we should cancel the league year. Like, there's no purpose in it. We won't play no motherfucking football till goddamn August, beginning of September.
Well, they're gonna cancel spring, but this the last year. We better go get all the pictures we can get and shit this year.
Well, I know they cut it down to 3 games.
No, I'm saying this the last year cancel.
Oh yeah, spring training. Preseason game they cut it at 3.
Yeah, and they might not come. The shit going on if it ain't over by July.
Now that's the point. It'd be hot.
Yeah, so they good.
That's why I'm hoping the Summer Olympics goddamn come on in. You know, May will be hot. Beginning of summer is in June. That's why I'm like, please get this shit out of control so we can have football.
They be able to start on time. So.
And they get pissed because a lot of players are getting traded or getting drafted, got to take physicals, and that take away from hospitals and all that. They rich, they can figure that out.
Yeah, they got their own personal fucking doctors.
Yeah, and go there and get you a physical fucking done. They can figure it out. Y'all donate all this fucking money and shit. Help the fuck out. All you fucking millionaires, help the fuck out.
Like Stephen A., that's what he was saying. He was like, it's a
J.J. White, his wife just donated $350,000.
It's a thing. Stephen A. said. He said you got the billionaires, you got the millionaires, he said then you got the regular people. He said the billionaires, the shit don't affect them.
No.
He said the millionaires, he said they okay. He said this shit affect the working people.
Yeah, cause man, if I was a millionaire, I wouldn't have to leave my house.
That's it. That's what he said. You know, they don't give a fuck. He was talking about the NFL. He was saying they don't give a fuck. They got
all these owners. Yeah, y'all step this shit up, man. Y'all get this shit stopped.
Shut up.
Cause the only thing you get the testing up, that's what stops it. Sink a lot of money into this trying to get a fucking vaccine, that'll stop it. Because if you sink billions of dollars into this shit, we'll have a vaccine by next year.
Yeah, they will. By the summertime, I think.
So, I mean, that's
you get these lazy motherfuckers up, get them to doing shit.
That's why I say, man, they can get this under control.
5 minutes finished.
I think it was done on purpose.
More threes.
I think this shit was done.
But now we're starting to get the testings up. Now that's the first prevention. Get tested and see if you got it. If you got it, don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Don't give it to nobody else. It keeps the outbreak down.
Like these healthy motherfuckers who said, okay, yeah, I tested positive, but I don't have no symptoms.
Yeah. Donovan Mitchell, no symptoms.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert, no symptoms.
Dude just goddamn was the Eagles, whatever his name is.
Ebro, whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking he got money. That motherfucker gonna get a lot of movies in the last few years.
They just did Charles and Shaw. He's a bad guy at that.
So like they got money. He can sit at home with his family and shit. Like it's the working people who they lose their job. That's why they don't in all these arena people and shit money, cause that's who it hurt. Man, they hurting the basketball players and nothing. Cause even the one who make the least money, that motherfucker still got good money.
Yeah, he got good money. Unless he living outside his fucking means.
Yep. Driving around in a fucking car you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Fucking buying a goddamn house they shouldn't have.
And got a
should have a nicer fucking car.
And got an entourage and all that shit.
Running behind him and shit. I hope you got all them motherfuckers stuck up in that big house with you. Quarantine y'all motherfuckers. Something happened. But we're getting under control if these people just listen, man. Like,
I'm trying to go on Wednesday. Can't franchise.
Will be my expectation, my sense of things, just a guess. And in the middle of the week, once Brady gets going, maybe there's a day or so into that, and Tom Brady could come to a decision about where he wants to play in 2020. Jeffrey, stay with me here, and then I have 2 other things for you. Laura.
All right, we've got Dan Orlovsky with us as well. We just heard, Dan, what Steffi said about Tom Brady being a guy that at this point probably isn't likely to go back to the Patriots. At least that's a thought out there. So he listed some teams: Chargers, Bucks, Dolphins, Raiders. In your mind, what's the best fit for Brady if he does go back?
When you don't have enough tests, you can't do that. And that's where we're stuck. We can't test patients in an environment. South Korea got completely right about testing and identifying a small number who actually
Mike Evans, you got a tight end, you got weapons down there. But you got some weapons out in the Raiders too.
running. How many do we have?
I'm
They
telling
got
you
all
what's
them
gonna
goddamn
happen.
draft picks.
I'm telling you what's gonna happen. He gonna New England, Bob Kraft, make Bill so I can get some weapons.
I'm gonna get calls from everybody after this record break.
They got knocked out in the playoffs this year.
First round.
My hope is later in the
Kansas is up there.
a few of them really are.
Kansas might win it next year too.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers don't know what they're doing.
Well, I don't know because you got Sean them got close, Tennessee got close. They keep they
Tannehill gonna fuck up.
Yeah, I do too. I think he don't got his money back.
You know he's gonna fuck up.
Yeah.
He ain't that great of a fucking quarterback.
He don't got his money. He's gonna go to his head.
But you know he let the NFL preach.
And my guess is over the next couple of days, they're
Don't y'all dare send me. I'm trying to break the record.
They're probably going to lower that. Well, Doctor, thank you for your time. Your
Very
expertise.
good.
Your opinion is very much needed today. Thank you, Doctor, out of Harvard today. Back here in New York. Thank you. You bet. I'm going to show you the map here. This is what we're doing, Fox. This is from
The new measures put in place to protect President Trump. Vice President Mike Pence. See, the Secret Service will shut that shit down.
Yeah.
Trump ain't got a say in that. Vice President ain't got a say in that. Secret Service say, look, motherfucker, you got fucked up and caught it. We ain't finna let that happen again. Because if you catch it, people really gonna fucking pay.
180,000 total confirmed cases. This is the number I was talking about a moment ago. 78,000 recovered, but 7,000.
See, out of 179,000, 78,000 don't recover. That's almost half.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it could be done.
We're focusing on 4 countries: China, Iran, Italy, and the United States. Let me take you back 3 weeks ago to today. All right, we're going to go back in time. Hang on 1 second here. This does work. This is February 24th. What I want to show you for the next minute or so is how things.
Look how shit was just 61 goddamn cases. And China jumped from 78 over them few weeks of Spain to 80, and it stopped. 61, and I think that's it.
It's going down, so.
And look how much it's going to jump already. Like, people need to pay attention. And then they rather than watching the news, they're going to get on Facebook
and social media shit.
And listen to that dumbass shit that half of it ain't fucking
know what
true.
they talking about.
To show that comparison, Iran 61 to 2,300, Italy 229 to 2,000. Now we'll take you to March 9th, which was just a week ago today.
Like, you got to see what it's doing. Like, the numbers are right there. If you look at it, it's telling you, motherfucker, this is what's going to happen over here if we don't get it together. And this country ain't built to stop shit like this and do what it takes to get it done. See, that's
how we don't never be proactive or reactive. Yeah.
We react to every fucking thing. Because of this country, we got too much say as people. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was up to Trump, he shut it down. But he get criticized, and it's an election year. Like, so ain't no Democrat, ain't no Republican gonna be dumb enough to fucking go against the American people right here. We got too much say. Like China over there, the motherfuckers say, look here, we run this motherfucker. We are the government.
Yeah, people don't say shit.
Don't nobody vote us in office, and we gonna make sure we put who we want in. Like the world know how crooked China is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how
just like in Russian shit.
Yeah. How all these like China's known for stealing intellect properties. Like we have stealing technology and shit from us. Like Trump said, that shit's stopping. Like that's what's hurting us. Like they taking everything from us and we ain't doing nothing. Obama let it happen. Like Obama signing that damn bill with that nuclear treaty with Iran, giving them billions of fucking dollars, and they still gonna make a goddamn nuclear fucking bomb. Trump said, if I get in office, that'll be done. He said that deal is done. As soon as he got in office, he got out the goddamn treaty. Even other countries was like, come on, U.S., what you doing? No, man. Like, these motherfuckers hate us more than any fucking body. Like, and they don't do nothing but support terrorist groups, give them money to do shit. Wow, Trump said, we ain't having that shit no goddamn more. Like the wall. I'm not being insensitive. But if you want to come over here, do it the legal goddamn way. Like
that's why we in the rut we in.
Yeah, trying to take care of goddamn illegal motherfuckers. That's it. Giving them rights and shit.
That's the one thing I said. Black and white, we should stick together. Black and white people.
Because they come out brown and black. No. Like I said, I look. I want people to come over here though. I mean, we all are immigrants from some fucking area. So I don't have no problem with that. Do it the right way so it don't take a toll on us, the American fucking people.
Maybe if we turn into assholes like these other countries, it'll stop. Cause don't nobody run over to goddamn Russia. Ain't nobody defecting to goddamn China and shit like that.
Jumping borders and coming over and all that shit. Trying to say we kids, motherfucker. Do it. Israel locked them borders fucked out, but they surrounded by enemies. So they have no choice really. So they like, no, they borders are some of the secure borders they ain't. And see, we ain't got that problem in the North border. We ain't got that problem. That's one of the most lax borders it is. Canada and the United States.
Yeah, yeah. We have the biggest
You
thing
can go
with
walk through the
Canada,
goddamn woods.
and the biggest thing with Canada border is motherfuckers be trying to get to Canada quick from here.
Well,
From
and
the
we
US.
don't have a couple. We don't have a couple of terrorists trying to come out, but see, Canada.
Trying to go through Canada?
Yeah,
Be in the United States and go through
No,
Canada?
no, come through
From
Canada.
Canada to
You know, kids do some damn like LAX bomb who's trying to blow up the airport.
Right.
And
He
all
can't
that.
even trying to come through Canada.
Yeah, but see, they stopped it. That's the thing. At that goddamn poor ass border down on the south, man, let's go for it. And like Trump said, it's the drugs. It's terrorism now trying to come through this motherfucker. We don't call all kind of foreigners out of Middle Eastern countries trying to come through that motherfucking border. Build that goddamn wall. Build it where it can't be penetrated.
Stop that.
I'm willing to give you my tax money for that.
20 seconds, so it's gonna last.
And that's what gets me, man. All these people. Oh, that's just wrong to treat them people like that. Just the fuck up with that shit. And I'm not racist at all. I want to say you're racist because you want to protect yourself. Like Trump when he said "Make America Great Again." I grew up with America great.
That's it.
I see what our country done went, goddamn, since I was little to here.
Down here.
Like, come on, y'all, let's get it together. Y'all the new millennials, y'all don't know shit. Y'all ain't got your history facts together. And that's the thing. Go back and read your history. And all the jobs that was out here when we were younger. The meal jobs that's gone and shit.
Yeah.
Our parents are struggling and shit. That didn't really have an education to start. So how they gonna get out and get a new trade? You go back to goddamn school. They gotta go back to school just to get a fucking GED first. Then go back to school to get a trade to learn. Like,
Jerry, what a day we've got today. Let's start with what we
and this generation ain't getting no better when it comes to education.
Steep sell-off today. Down almost 10%.
And I tell these motherfuckers all the time, look to y'all, I say, I'm smarter than you motherfuckers. I said, for one, doing this shit on computers and shit, I don't think that you learn. Read a fucking book.
That's the thing. This
Read
shit
a
right here,
fucking book.
These motherfuckers right here have destroyed America.
My books was like this. They talking about his damn book bad beat.
Yeah.
Heavy and shit. I said, boy, you couldn't fucking survive without my book bad. I said, every subject had a big ass motherfucking textbook like
You
that.
remember when Miss motherfucking what's her name made me bring out my goddamn books home?
And read it. And see, math is the only subject that really gave me hell.
Because you suck.
My thing, no, because that's the only one that's problem solving. The rest of the shit you read is in the book.
Yeah, the answers
If
right
you
there.
read the book, you'll find the answers.
Yeah.
Science, motherfucking geography,
Yeah.
goddamn biography,
Social studies.
English, all that shit is right there if you just read your goddamn books. But no, folks don't want to do it. They jump on the phone and let you use your phone to do shit.
Not let you use
You
your
couldn't have
phone.
a calculator watch.
No, you couldn't have
In class.
No,
Because
you
you
had
taught
to,
that.
you
Now they
had
make
to
you
physically
every
learn,
year when
yeah.
you go buy motherfucking supplies, them special fucking calculators is on that motherfucker that are hot as hell.
Yeah, Payne got one.
I like, god damn.
Look like a handheld computer.
Where you can sit in class and type in the motherfucking number rather than solving the motherfucking problem. Writing on a piece of paper.
Then they wonder why kids don't know shit.
I wish we could have that shit, because I'd have
I
had straight
graduated.
A's.
I graduated. Shit.
Oh, you want to use your calculator? Shit.
Yeah.
That's that problem. That's that problem. Shit, I had to write that shit down and think about it like,
You have a motherfucking worksheet you take over here
that
with
you
all
had
kind
to
of
staple
shit.
to the goddamn.
You gotta show you how you got the answer.
Yeah. No, not that. I'm like, as long as you get the right answer, they just push these motherfuckers through.
Yeah.
Don't flunk you no more.
No, they don't. They don't. Cause this year is like when Peyton got to 12th, like when he was in the 12th, when he got to
You
12th
think you should have
grade.
graduated all these days he missed, don't go to school? Hell fuck no, you shouldn't have graduated. But they just trying to push these motherfuckers through, and then these motherfuckers go out here and get these jobs and don't know shit. What the fuck they doing?
On the one hand, and others who think, no, it's just going to be a kind of a short V-shaped thing. that doesn't really help anybody understand.
And then this generation don't want to work.
So exactly as
You know, they rather take other people's hard work and shit.
No, they want the easy job. You know what I'm saying? Sit on their ass and I do nothing.
Or still, they
don't want
this is the
hard
most,
job.
like, when we was coming up, it was shoplifters. Go to stores. They stealing from the rich companies. And they selling at half price and shit. These motherfuckers now will come in your shit and take your shit that you don't went and bought.
No, and these shoplifters.
Like you didn't hear about drug dealers getting robbed back then.
You know, these shoplifters go steal shit and steal charges.
Like drug dealers.
You lost your fucking mind. Like, I'm not paying you for retail price of this shit.
Nah, you don't stole it. What you
Like,
gonna
it's
say?
automatic half price.
Yeah.
And all these motherfuckers now got an $80 jacket. Oh, I want $70 for it. But I'll give you 30. Oh, no, I can't do it. You lost your goddamn mind.
I can hear you. I know.
Thank you for your time. Hello to you. Congratulations.
Like, I wish I would have graduated. I'd be sitting right here.
Yeah. Nah, here I know that.
I got me a good job.
No, what the fuck I know now?
These motherfuckers now, man. Like Star, man, that's why you get your hurt. All these good fucking jobs you don't have, fuck up, man. But they ain't want a bitch when you get a job paying goddamn minimum wage, $8 an hour. You did have it. You making $12 and $13 an hour and don't want to go to work.
That's like Django, boy. Good killer ass job.
Don't want to work.
Get that first paycheck and see it's a nice paycheck. Okay, go get the next one like that. No, they think that first one gonna last. Like they ain't gotta go get that.
You got a job at that motherfucker. I can't work. I'm getting fucked up running my birth paycheck. I was like, then you need to concentrate on the next one and the next one and the next one. And see, if they work for a few months, then they get it used to it. But they won't allow themselves to. They get that first good paycheck and they gone. Motherfucker can't even find it.
Crazy as hell.
Get their friends and shit calling you. Oh, he's sick, this. I was like, I was lazy ass. You don't see him for 2 or 3 days and then come back home and broke his shit. And bitching because they ain't got their job no more. You gotta do it all. My thing is, I hate jobs.
Hell yeah, me too.
That's why I'm still at goddamn pizza.
That's the hardest thing. Yep, the job.
I don't like job hunting.
You see, like Mama was like, I filled out application online. And I was like, and I didn't have the motivation to get up and like go to a lot of places. But soon as Mary say, Maureen back down there, you get your job back. I went straight down and got my job back because I know that. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the working, it's goddamn looking for it.
They try to get the job back where they goddamn left and get mad because the motherfucker don't want to give you your job back. I'm like, you work in the restaurant business, partner, you gonna work.
Yeah.
Nobody want to work.
And that's what motherfuckers don't understand with me. They be like Pam, she came along with yesterday. She still hot. She got her yesterday. She still mad. But she don't get it for 2-week notice. She got herself in some of the house. But she said she's going nowhere. She ain't travel. So you back now. Goddamn it, you know what I know. Alex got a weak immune system. But said his ass home. But he's be like, I thought you wasn't home. I said, no, I'm not.
I know when I
And they be like, they take you. I say, yeah. I say, cause
up at the stove.
I know my shit.
I'm sitting on the corner right there with a bag, what he got, eating some shit. And when we pulled up, Mama way got threw my hand up, and when he see me, he's like, and I got, I said, what's up, Kurt? Gave him dabbing all legs and shit. He said, I said, shit, why you standing there? He said, damn, why you got right down there and got He said, just decided to get some exercise and walk up to the stove. And then he said, it's your brother. I said, yeah, y'all friends my Mexican. He was like, yeah, I want to see if he can get me a job. I was like, yeah, he as long as I said, he ain't Westgate no more. I said, he back in Gordon Road. I said, but I can meet you up. He's like, hell yeah. See, I said, my cousin, he's on there, Westgate. I said, I'll see him. What he got?
The cover work, like he wasn't the damn car wash. Hell.
Let's start working on it.
Yeah. And I can't,
I'm not sitting out there telling y'all shit. I don't even want to get my own car. And I used to, boy. And I stayed up Bowling Spring, man. Fucking every other day I'm out there with the water hose and all that motherfucking shit. washing my car, waxing that motherfucker, waxing my rims, every fucking thing.
And the public reports. If everyone makes this change or these critical changes and sacrifices now, we will rally together as one nation and we will defeat the virus and have a big celebration all together. With several weeks of focused action, we can turn the corner and turn it quickly. A lot of progress has been made. I'm also pleased to report
but I don't sweat
today
them
that the
because
vaccine candidate has begun
I told you he
being
fell down
used
some fucking steps and he got to work for a while.
This is one of the fastest
And then
vaccine
Kevin on
development
this shit like
launches in history.
days I was selling weed, doing nothing. He'll say,
See, as Monday U.S. the doc said, U.S. outbreak become as bad as it is if Americans don't follow local and federal
To
guidelines.
reduce the severity and the
And that is fucking truth. Like our shit jumped.
In this court, I know not going
And
to
we
think
even got
about
1,000 motherfucking
the
cases.
drug
Like,
races.
come on, y'all.
like Kevin, go get some weed. He like, you got some? I said, nah.
Dr. Birch is going to discuss some of the things that we've
That's what the thing, man. Like, we gonna get bad.
Yeah, cause motherfuckers hard headed down here.
I told that one old man, they're laughing about the shit yesterday.
We've taken very bold action.
Just like that stupid shit Walker Clark said. And then you wonder why they wonder why niggas so evil. Here y'all is, y'all motherfucking idols. These kids, these young motherfuckers look up to y'all.
You tell them dumb shit like that, that makes them
We now
motherfuckers
need
weak.
to appeal to every single American so that they can have their role in stopping the spread of this virus. We've talked about
You got the U.S. Attorney General up
washing
there?
your hands.
I mean,
But we really
what,
want to
who's the
focus
motherfucker
on
that,
if you are
who's
sick,
motherfucker?
Certain Jim.
Certain, that's him right there,
sick.
the black dude.
If
You
someone
got
in
that
your
motherfucker up there
household
talking with you.
is diagnosed with this
Gil Grant.
virus, the entire
Hello?
household
Yeah.
should quarantine in the house to prevent spread of the virus to others. The reason we're taking these strong and bold steps is because we know there is virus
See, that's why I
spread
love about them.
before you develop
Motherfuckers pay
symptoms.
15, 20 a
And then we
grand.
know that there's a large group, we don't know the precise percent yet, that actually is able
Every time I look at
to
them
die
man,
from such
everything about it.
that they continue to spread the virus. If your children are sick, please keep them home.
Oh, summertime tea? Mama gonna love it. Cause the man who got a blue man, they got a musical group. And they sing shit like, back in the day, like the SOS band, shit like that. And they be out down there. And it's like a live concert. But I was the only old school motherfucker over here. And I was sitting there, I think I was on the porch smoking one day. I heard it down there playing. I was like, oh, fuck up.
They are the
They
core
goddamn, go see who this is. I walked down there, they got this lady who sang with them.
They're the group that communicates successfully, independent of picking on the phone. They intuitively know how to contact each other without being in large social gatherings. We're asking all of them to hold their gatherings to under 10 people. Not just in bars and restaurants, but in homes. We really want people to be separated at this time. To be able to address this virus comprehensively that we cannot see, for which we don't have a vaccine or a therapeutic. The only thing we have right now is the amazing ingenuity and compassion of the American people. We're appealing to all Americans to take these steps, to protect each other, and to ensure that the virus doesn't spread. These guidelines are very specific, they're very detailed. They will only work if every American takes this together to heart and responds as one nation and one people.
See, that's what she said, one nation under God.
Yep, that's it. One nation, one people. See? And then they wonder why the kids out there.
Dr. Brooks. So just to connect with what
That's
I
all we
mentioned to you in
You go in houses now, you know, you used to go in Miss Logan's, grandma's, anybody. Everybody had that picture of fucking Jesus Christ hanging up there. Some kind of picture.
Oh, that's star picture. That's star picture.
Yes, baby, mama. But you don't go in people's houses no more and see that picture of Jesus Christ. And it was certain pictures you seen in every fucking house. Like you seen the Last Supper in a lot of houses. No! And grandma kept a big ass Bible on the coffee table. Mama used to keep one.
Say y'all Trump said government is petty, whatever it takes.
Okay, y'all finna get to they fucking with the wrong one, fucking with that really
right shut this bitch
down. He's gonna say, and Trump the type to get on there and say, look, I tried to tell y'all didn't want to do it yourself. I don't give a fuck about you getting mad at me, but shit, see, snap, close everything. You're done. Your hard-headed ass didn't want to do it first time. You can't fucking blame him.
Everybody's trying to tell them, man, come on, y'all, just be smart about this shit. Like,
you can't blame him,
man. Don't go out unless you got to. But I don't mind on my days off. I don't got to the point. Fuck going anywhere. I want to get my rest for this next week coming.
That's it.
So I will sit the fucking home, play TV.
That's me. Like I tell everybody, be like, "What's up, Joe? Damn, boy, where you been?" I said, and the first thing I tell them, I say, I stay out of these young cats' way. I stay in my own lane. That's it. That's what I tell them. I say, it ain't but two things gonna come out of it. I'm going to prison, or I'm gonna be dead. Dude tried to rob me in Whiskey Pines. I told him point blank. I said, look. I say, I'm old school. I say, goddamn it, I give it to you. I ain't gonna fight you. I say, but you gonna be looking over your back for the rest of your goddamn life for eye squeeze. When you knock on the door and say, Chubb was shooting bad, let me hold something.
Yeah, like some of the shit they do, man, they getting themselves killed over there. Dumb as shit. Like, it ain't even work.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Every day, and I speak to Deborah, I speak to a lot of them. I just get the opinion. So it seems to me
I ain't got my key
that if we do a really good job,
Where are you going? Oh.
down to a level that is much lower than the other way, had we not done a good job. But people are talking about July, August, something like that. So it could be right in that period of time where I say it washes through. Other people don't like that term, the word washes through. Is this the new normal until item something? We'll see what happens, but they think August, could be July, could be longer than that. But I've asked that question many, many times, yes.
That being said, Mr. President, Americans today and looking forward are living with so much anxiety and so much fear facing uncertainty right now. I'm curious, how are you talking to your own
I was gonna say, that's gay if you make stuff.
your youngest son? Do you empathize with this sense of anxiety? People are really scared.
They are very scared. I think they see that we're doing a very professional job. We've been working with the governors and frankly, the mayor's local government at every level. We have FEMA totally involved. FEMA's been, usually we see FEMA for the hurricanes and the tornadoes. Now we have FEMA involved in this. They've been doing a fantastic job locally, working with people that they know because they work, like as an example, in California.
I wish you would have.
State of Washington. They work with them a lot on other things, and they're very familiar, so they're working on it. What you can do, all you can do is professional, totally competent. We have the best people in the world. We have really the greatest experts in the world. And someday soon, hopefully it'll end and we'll be back to where it was. But this came up, it came up so suddenly. We were surprised, we were all surprised. We heard about it. We heard about reports from China that something was happening, and all of a sudden we did make a good decision. We closed our borders to China very quickly, very rapidly. Otherwise we'd be in a very, as Tony has said numerous times, we'd be in a very bad position, much worse than we would be right now. You look at what's happening in other countries. Italy's having a very hard time.
Bro, move.
But I think that what we do...
No, it's not my fault. You wouldn't get out of my way.
It's bad. It's bad. But we're going to be hopefully a best case, not a worst case, and that's what we're working for. Yes.
Clear up some confusion on two key fronts. One is about your own test, the other is about containment efforts. Is the administration considering more aggressive containment options like a quarantine and curfew for sure?
Well, we have it very much. We have it very much, and we've been pretty aggressive. We were early with other places. far as containment here, we're coming out with strong suggestions, and it's becoming a little bit automatic. You look at people that are not doing certain things. For instance, obviously not. I wouldn't say the restaurant business is booming, and bars and grills and all. People are self-containing to a large extent. We look forward to the day when we can get back to normal.
Are you considering instituting a nationwide lockdown, a nationwide quarantine? The NSC knocked that down, but there's still some questions about how it all
At this point, not nationwide, but well, there are some places in our nation that are not very affected at all. We may look at certain areas, certain hotspots, as they call them. We'll be looking at that, but at this moment, no, we're not.
Second question is, you said you had your coronavirus test Friday night.
No, y'all better count that. How do you review it? What? For a buzzer beat? And you took my stuff. I let that go. I swear I let that go. He's gay. He's so gay for that one. I let that go right before the buzzer. I gotta go replay that. Which is a NFL. You can challenge this.
I don't know what time the letter went out. Maybe it was put up by
Oh
somebody
man, you
else.
can't
The
challenge it.
results came back, I believe, the following day, and we tested negative.
The question is, how could the White House doctor's office say the test was indicated, implying that you hadn't had what in fact you had?
Well, I told them that, and I went totally by what they said, the doctors, more than one. They said you don't have any of the symptoms. They checked what you were supposed to check, and that I didn't have symptoms. But I did a test late on Friday night, and it came back probably 24 hours later or something. They sent it to the labs, came back later.
Yeah. Mr. President, you had a teleconference with the nation's governors today. And in that teleconference, you told them that they need things like respirators or masks to try to get it on their own. What did you mean by that, and what will the
So they can get them faster by getting them on their own. In other words, go through a supply chain that they may have, because the governors, during normal times, the governors buy a lot of things, not necessarily through federal government. If they're able to get ventilators, respirators, if they're able to get certain things without having to go through the longer process of federal government.
I'm the only one doing something.
We're ordering tremendous numbers of ventilators, respirators, masks, and they're ordering, and they're coming, and we have quite a few at this point. I think we have a lot. But if they can get them directly, it's always going to be faster if they can get them directly, if they need them. And I've given them authorization to order directly.
One of the big weaknesses in our healthcare system is surge capacity for medical facilities. And I wanted to ask what precautions, what planning is being done to get China was able to build hospitals in a matter of days. Are you prepared to use the Corps of Engineers or FEMA to start building surge capacity that we may need in a couple of weeks?
Well, first of all, we hope we don't get there, and that's what we're doing, and that's why we're taking a very strict look at this. But we also are looking at areas, and not only looking, we're expanding certain areas. We're taking over buildings that aren't used. We're doing a lot in that regard. We hope we don't have to get there, but we are doing a lot in that regard.
Can you clarify? He will die for you. Indeed, you did. Mr. Paul? Yes, sir. This is Abraham to speak to you. I have the message I could. Mrs. Allen, I'm sorry to have kept you. You know, I had a lot of things about 12 March.
You're goddamn right I did. What are you trying to tell you all day?
Receiving a card, go to Google WhatsApp in that line. You can see it right here. Quarantine, a smart player. They can find those holes in there. The
Backcourt, why do you leave double teams in backcourt?
and make tough catches in a competitive environment. Well, look at this. Those are the kind of things that a young quarterback wants. Because those are easier throws in the middle of the football field in the tight windows, and then he comes down with it. And then you can just design stuff like this as far as tight end throwback, all the flash and pass. We see a tight end throwback, he's going to fake. They can fake it like he's going to block, and then run the stop down the field, and you can see him there with this tremendous over-the-shoulder adjust. Those are the kind of things that you would want out of a tight end to help out the young quarterback who's coming off a year that obviously was a little bit disappointing, and you want to see him take the next step. Obviously, do you want to pay, top premium dollars for him? Ideally, no. But they don't have really the option when you're drafting because you're drafting minimum stock for it. So it makes sense when we do what they do.
Yeah, and when you look at how you improve your team with Henry getting
Dang, bro, why is everybody falling? Like, calm down. There's some mean fouls. Haven't had a flagrant yet, though. Ah, they're out here.
I think there's a tremendous pent-up demand, both in terms of the stock market and in terms of the economy. And once this goes away, once it goes through and we're done with it, I think you're going to see a tremendous surge. Are you looking at any domestic travel restrictions? I know that's been on the table before, but is that coming up at all? We're not really. We hope we don't have to. We think that...
Wow, I'll pull this out.
But it's certainly something that we talk about every day. We haven't made that decision.
They're terrified of this virus, of the fact that they don't get it, of the fact that they might take it home to their families. What can you say to assure healthcare providers in this country that the federal government is doing something today to ensure that they get personal protective equipment to protect themselves and their families?
Well, I think the federal government's doing everything that we can possibly do. We made some very good early decisions by keeping people out, by keeping countries out, certain countries where the infection was very immense. I notice a lot of people are talking about South Korea because they've done a good job on one side, but on the other side, tremendous problems at the beginning. They had tremendous problems and great numbers of death. I think that we've done a fantastic job from just about every standpoint. With that being said, you look, no matter where you look,
They use him. I swear they do.
And we are speaking all the time, not only with the people, but also the professional people, the nurses, the doctors. They have been doing a fantastic job. We are also working very much on getting them the kind of equipment that they need. And for the most part, they either have it or they will be getting it. But remember this, we want the governors, we want the mayors, we want them locally, from a local standpoint, because it can go quicker. We want them to work. And we had a
I don't care what nobody say. They shit.
really great talk. There's a tremendous coordination.
Man, Curry gotta get hurt. I swear, I gotta injure him.
And that's pretty much, for the most part, bipartisan. Yeah.
Mr. President, you told John that you think this could wash the ratings in July, August, and just told Steve when he asked you about the possibility of recession. You said it may be. I'm curious if there is a recession. Where do you think that might be?
Well, I don't number one, determine recession. I just say this, we have an invisible enemy. We have a problem that a month ago nobody ever thought about. Nobody in the, I read about it. I read about many years
Why
ago.
do they foul?
1917, 1918. I've seen all of the different problems similar to this that we've had. This is a bad one. This is a very bad one. This is bad in the sense that it's so contagious. It's just so contagious. It's sort of record-setting type contagion. The good part is the young people they do very well, and healthy people do very well. Very, very bad for older people, especially older people with problems. My focus is really on getting rid of this problem, this virus problem. Once we do that, everything else is going to fall into place. Yes, please.
Last night that you were going to put in a national curfew. Or something, right, exactly. Me too. Your people were saying this was a false disinformation. Is that what's going on? Are people messing with us on the internet?
Motherfuckers in South in Spartanburg listening. Cause it ain't bad to nobody the fuck out there.
Actually, it's been very fair. I think people are pulling together on
They listening?
the media's been very fair. I think it could be that you have some
Yeah.
playing games, but it doesn't matter. We have determined to do that.
I think they gonna close us down.
Hopefully we won't have to. That's a very big step. It's a step we can take, but we have not decided to do it, Jennifer.
Mr. President, there are two things, one on airlines and one with Jeff Bezos. Can you talk a little bit specifically about what you'd like to do to help the airlines as well? And then second of all, we heard that Jeff Bezos has been in contact with the White House repeatedly. Can you say what he's been asking for or proposing?
Well, I've heard that too. I don't know that for a fact, but I know that some of my people have, as I understand it, been dealing with them or with him. And that's nice. We've had tremendous support from a lot of people that
Never again.
can help
Westbrook,
us.
never again.
And I believe he will. As far as the airlines are concerned, the airlines, we're going to back the
Well,
airlines
we wait.
100%.
We wait.
We're not
Come
going to
on.
fold. Somebody's fold unless you go to the original source. But it's nobody's fault. And we're going to be in a position to help the airlines very much. We've told the airlines we're going to help them. Well, we're going to be helping, we're going to be backstopping the airlines. We're going to be helping them very much. It's very important.
What are you thinking about the stock market, sir?
$25 billion. That's what we're carrying at $4 billion per cargo. We're going to be looking at it very strongly. We have to back the airlines. It's not their fault. In fact, they were having a record season. Everybody was. They were having record seasons, and then this came out. They came out from nowhere.
Hey, that place we passed, we're taking that to the school. You say store, it's called Satel.
One person,
Yeah, they closed it.
but they say he had basically sold to the he had told him what to do with he
Once
had
this
said,
virus
hey,
is gone,
nobody
I think you're going to have a stock market like nobody's ever seen.
I think not only that, the person who lied and told Satya they tested positive for it, but they didn't work.
That's a possibility.
And
But because they don't got that company involved, there's gonna be some shit though.
but they don't have that had a clean project.
Yeah, because that's what they were saying. Something like
Having them work at home.
Until July. But the president was saying that the trajectory of the outbreak may go through, and make sure we don't think that these are solid in stone until July. Outside. No. I think they're making even better. Look, they're working together very well with the House. They're working very much in unison, like the question before. They're working to only enhance it and make it better and make it fair for everybody. And that's what we're looking to do. So we may go back and forth with the House a little bit, but both will be in a very positive fashion, please.
Mr. President, these new guidelines say avoid social gatherings and groups of more than 10 people. The CDC's recommendations yesterday were for people to avoid gatherings more than 50
Oh my God.
people. Evolved in you and your team's thinking in just the past 24 hours? And also, what exactly do you need to see in a stimulus?
Well, let me just have the professionals answer that. I'd like to do that.
Great. Thank you, and thank you for that question. So we have been working on models day and night around the globe to really predict, because some countries that are very early stage, like the United States, we've been working with groups in the United Kingdom. So we had new information coming out from a model, and what had the biggest impact in the model is social distancing, small groups, not going in public in large groups. The most important thing was if one person in the household became infected, the whole household self-quarantined for 14 days. Because that stops 100% of the transmission outside of the household. And as we talked about early on, it's silent. We had another silent epidemic, HIV. And I just want to recognize the HIV epidemic was solved by the community. The HIV advocates and activists who stood up when no one was listening and got everyone's attention. We're asking that same sense of community to come together and stand up against this virus. And if everybody in America does what we ask for over the next 15 days, we will see a dramatic difference, and we won't have to worry about the ventilators, and we won't have to worry about the ICU beds, because we won't have our elderly and our people at the greatest risk having to be hospitalized.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. Very productive call today with governors. We talked about the new rollout of testing that we described yesterday, drive-through and community-based testing, and I know how grateful the President is for the efforts that governors are making, and now with the Admiral and the United States Public Health Service as well as FEMA, we made great progress today in coordinating those efforts. But the other issue that was raised with the President today was personal protective equipment. And the reason I mentioned testing is because one of the recommendations that we have for states is that these remote testing sites make a priority of two groups. One would be people over the age of 65 that have symptoms. We don't want them to go to hospitals or emergency rooms. We want them to go to a remote site.
No, ain't nobody came back and told. Ain't nobody came back and told me nothing about you.
But the other
ain't nobody came back and told me nothing about you. Everything I do
make sure
is
that our healthcare workers have the opportunity to be tested, and using that new high throughput
like
test.
I said, everything that I say about you is not nobody telling me. I don't know nobody
much more expeditious. So we're putting a real priority on our extraordinary healthcare workers that are at this very hour coming alongside people that are struggling with the coronavirus, people that are concerned that they may have been exposed. The other piece is
like I said, you can pop off
the legislation passed by the House of Representatives includes liability protection for N95 masks produced by companies like 3M in Minnesota, by Honeywell. Literally tens of millions of masks are produced every year for industrial purposes, for construction. But the health experts say they can be used just as readily to protect healthcare workers from respiratory ailments. 3M and other companies were not able to sell those to hospitals, but the president negotiated with the Democratic leadership of the House and Senate. We've added a provision to the bill that will literally, for one company alone, add another 30 million masks per month back to the marketplace. We're strengthening the supply chain, and healthcare workers around America can be absolutely certain that the president and our entire team are going to continue to put the health of America first and put first our healthcare workers across this country that are meeting the needs of the people of our country.
Vice President, how many test kits have been sent out and how many people can actually be tested?
She got me fucking kidding me. I don't go fuck with people. I ain't got time for
thank you very much for that. As we talked about yesterday, we're really entering a new phase of testing. At first, we were at the initial phase where the CDC developed test was only available in public health laboratories in the CDC. It works very well for a few thousand tests per day after it gets running. We're now moving into a phase that the big commercial laboratories with high throughput screening have availability. So, as we talked about last week, because of the historic efforts of the FDA, a Roche test,
I know what I do. I know what I do.
A Thermo Fisher test were both produced last week under an emergency use authorization. 1.9 billion of those tests will be sequentially into the ecosystem this week. From the information we have right now, 1 million tests are available with all the reagents, everything ready to go, primarily at the reference labs called Quest, LabCorp, and others. Now, it doesn't matter if they're not in your neighborhood, because every day when people get tests,
how would I find out your phone? Because when you keep your phone on fucking silent, like I said, I guarantee your phone is on silent.
We expect more and more than 1 million coming on board this week.
I told you, if that's what you want, you go do it.
With the testing together,
I told you that.
Validate that in their own.
And I promise you, I won't fuck with you. Won't cut you, won't shit you, watch nobody else do it. If that's what you need, that's what you do.
There are also whole growth of what's called laboratory determined testing or laboratory-derived testing, where individual laboratories, because of the regulatory deregulation of the FDA, can develop their own tests and start using them. So if you're a CLIA-certified lab with complexity, you can do that. So the point is, testing is now entering sort of what we normally do in the healthcare system, where big labs in a high-throughput basis receive these through normal channels. So that part of it is really underway.
How many Americans have actually been tested? Do you have enough?
There is a number. I don't have that number because I've been working on setting up this distribution system. So this is where we are. The state and public health laboratories in the CDC are published every day on the CDC website. The CDC gets feeds from LabCorp and Quest, and they get that on a daily basis. What is not being received right now, and Ambassador Burks is fixing, is that these homegrown tests in highly complex labs don't necessarily get reported in the system. However, as we move forward, particularly in the commercial phase of where we are right now, we expect about 80 to 85%
because you fucked up.
To flow right into the CDC.
Because
We know them.
somehow your motherfucking walked that head. Because you fucked up, it was my fault when you left me. call it you cheating. And you motherfucker got caught up in your lives.
I don't believe anybody's been able to do what
Yeah,
we're
but
doing.
when you did there.
And let me just say that we talked about the drive-through testing yesterday.
But
I want it to be clear.
didn't I say something? Didn't I say something about you doing there when you went to your mama? You said you did, but you didn't.
Healthcare systems to use. It's not replacing testing that goes on in the
what
doctor's
the fuck?
office or in a hospital.
Like I said, so I
You go to
played
your
it
doctor and wants you tested in that office. This is just another tool that will help the states to have. And again, as we talked about, this is modeled on the FEMA-based.
And if you'd have never come out your mouth and told me to get out, I'd never left.
We expect this week we now have
I just let you go to your grandparents, cool down for a minute.
Right now, today, that will be in over 12 states with multiple sites. Many of states have multiple sites to start augmenting.
Only thing I don't remember is the argument
state and the local people what they need.
that got the fight started.
So this has never been done before. That's never been done, and certainly not on
I believe you. You've already said you remember everything.
I think I can speak to the professionals.
So you remember telling me
if you don't have the symptoms, if your doctor doesn't think you need it, don't get the test. Don't get the test. I think it's very important. Not everybody should run out and get the test.
Yeah, and they kept telling me to get out, and you kept hollering, why did I leave my house, and all that shit. You get out, and your grandma, you need to leave. Your grandpa, you need to leave. So if that's what y'all telling me to do, that's what I'm gonna do. It ain't my shit. I look like I would look like the asshole if I didn't leave when y'all told me to leave, taking over your shit. So either way, anything I would have done, I would have been in the wrong. And I'd rather be in the wrong for doing the right thing than doing the wrong thing, because I had no business getting you out of your fucking shit. That's your shit. So if you tell me to leave, I'm gonna leave. That's the right thing to do.
Probably, maybe if anything more, certainly not less.
And I'm getting blamed for something that you told me to do. Like any other nigga that you fuck with and say, fuck all y'all ain't going nowhere, blah 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 blah. And it would have been a whole fucking deal.
Good doctors in the White House, but it's a test. It's a test. It's a medical test. Nothing less than that.
It still didn't give you the right. I mean, what it did give you the right to show shit. Like I said, I didn't tell you to leave that we were splitting up. I told you to leave, so we cooled the fuck down. When you said get the fuck out, that's what that meant. Alright, it's supposed to be our fucking spot, but you telling me to get out. So you telling me to get out, it's over.
There's no question about it. So I think they can look at their info. We're getting along very well.
I mean, when you tell somebody to get out of their damn house, that's what it is.
You made some statements just now that the relationship with the federal government has been good. The federal government has done everything.
Because I wanted you to leave, so it wouldn't escalate more.
I think it's very important.
But you could drive. I couldn't just jump in my car and fucking go somewhere and cool off. No, I fucking didn't. Nate, did I call Lil T when we was fighting? Who called Lil T?
I did.
Thank you. He called his fucking mom. I didn't call him. I didn't call my mama. I didn't call no fucking body.
I will say this, we're very careful. We're very careful with
Because I was trying, like I said.
Even the people behind me they've been very strongly tested. I've been very strongly tested. And we have to be very careful. But
you running them like you want them.
Vigilant. We have to be vigilant. Yeah.
They're so involved in our fucking
I don't know if this is a question for you or for Dr. Burke, but Dr. Burke said...
No, man, you go back and tell them shit all the fucking time. Just like you sitting there tell I ain't paid no motherfucking bills and all that shit. Them your words. That's where you think they get them words from that I ain't paying nothing. Obviously it's from you because you say the same thing they say.
60s, 70s, what is older? What should we...
So you come out your mouth and say I ain't paying no bills.
Well, if I was Dr. Fauci, I would tell you there's a physiologic age and a numerical age. So older people with pre-existing conditions, what do we mean by that? You know, significant heart disease, significant kidney disease, significant lung disease, any immunosuppression, any recent treatment for
Say dumb
cancer,
shit.
any of those pieces in any household. Now, why do I think the millennials are the key? Because they're the ones that are out and about. And they're the most likely to be in social gatherings. And they're the most likely to be the least symptomatic.
I live my life
And I
with
think we've always heard about the greatest generation. We're protecting the greatest generation right now. And the children of the greatest generation. And I think the millennials can help us tremendously by
it's alright for you to do it, but I can't.
But they need to communicate with each other. How like how people like
I ain't fucking nobody.
don't always
That's on my fucking
compelling
kid.
and exciting messages.
Well, no, the fuck I'm not.
To 35-year-old may
Shit,
find
so you saying
interesting and something that will change.
if I'm talking to a female, I can't
Millennials
fuck.
can speak to one another about how important it is in this moment.
So if I was talking to him, I'd be fucking him, but you say I may not be fucking him. So you contradicting yourself.
Medical condition and be a substantial risk. You could be 30.
If I'm talking to a female, guaranteed I can fuck.
Hodgkin's disease or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma could be a significant risk. So there are risks.
So how you say I'm probably not fucking him, I'm talking to him. So I'm just talking to females just to be talking to them.
And they can help us.
I'm not doing nothing. That's the fucking problem. I'm not doing nothing. And then you don't want to go around hiding shit. Like you hear that fucking lead shit coming. Asking me questions about, oh, well, dude, I thought you said you my friend want to do this. That's running game.
How would you rate your response to this crisis?
I probably would have got pissed because you started saying this. But I got even more fucking pissed because you hit it.
A very highly infected country.
That just shows how much shit you always hide from me.
Saying, no, it's too early to do that. We were very, very early with respect to China. And we would have a whole different situation.
If it wasn't for the fact that I worried about missing phone calls and shit, I'd have put my phone on silent like that. Oh, I'd have heard it. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing all kinds of shit.
Have done a fantastic job. As far as the testing, you heard the Admiral. I think the
testing. Somebody texts me or whatever, you over my shoulder looking at my fucking phone. You won't even fucking pick up your phone too quick because you keep it on silent to check your shit.
We took it over. And we're doing something that's never been done in this country. And I think that we are doing very well. We took the system, we worked with the system we had, and we broke down the system purposely. We broke it down in order to do what we're doing now. And within a short period of time, and even now, we're testing tremendous numbers of people. And
You should know that. Texting not with me. And you gonna try to say I was cheating while I was up there with you? You know I wouldn't.
We certainly expect with the high throughput testing
So, you know I wouldn't fuck nobody.
the barrier is actually
But I
used
still
to
got I wouldn't fuck nobody.
do the test.
We wouldn't have sex.
Providers need to
It wasn't sex stuff like that. I didn't give a fuck about that.
personal protective equipment, and there's a swab that's put in the back of the nose all the way
No,
to the
that's
back,
gay.
which is then put in
And it's more stressful trying to fuck a random bitch than somebody that you already with. That anytime you want, you can get it. I still to this day clean.
that in, it's highly likely the person calls or
Like if I wanted some sex, I could call you anytime you
trying
need.
to fix now.
So why do I need to go out there and chase some fucking female to get it?
We're doing is to enable sort of high throughput of this swabbing, and we're doing some
Like that
a
don't
lot
make
of
no
things
sense.
too that might be breakthroughs to make it much faster. But we certainly expect that from thousands of people per day,
It was all another night.
we will be at tens of thousands of
You
people
already
per day
said we can be friends with
this
this
week,
week.
according to the
I don't need to go out and chase some fucking female. So why would I? That's fucking stressful. I'm not fucking 20. What the fuck, man? I'm not 20 years old no more. I don't have enough sex I can go without it for the rest of my life. I don't fuck with enough bitches that half the motherfuckers can't say that they fuck half the bitches I don't fuck. I don't need to go out and fuck with
Also, getting this ready for the future, so that when we have a future problem, if and when, and
I'm
hopefully
doing
we
the
don't
same
have
thing I'm
anything
doing
like
up
this,
there.
but
Working,
if there
coming
is,
here,
we're going to be
sitting,
very,
chilling,
we're going to be
playing my
starting
game.
off from a
And
much
that's the
higher
only difference
plateau. Because we were at a very,
that
very
since
low
I've been
base.
out,
We
well,
had
when I was up there,
a
I played my
system
game
that
a
was
little
not
bit
meant
more.
for this. It was
I ain't even
a
watching my
smaller
fire
system. It was
none of that
meant
shit.
for a much different purpose.
The only thing I do is work and sit at home. I've been so fucking lazy, I ain't even got up and went and took my goddamn
Very
assessment.
special and is ready for future problems. I think we could say that very strongly.
Shit, I ain't partying, I can't smoke, can't take pills.
To shutting down America's
Now if I was staying fucked up and all that, you might have a leg stand and say I was out partying and doing shit. I can't even fucking party.
Is it your advice that those states postpone those elections?
Well, I'd leave that up to the states. It's a big thing postponing an election. I think to me that really goes to the heart of what we're all about. I think postponing an election is a very tough thing. I know they're doing, because they've been in touch with us, they're doing it very carefully. They're spreading people out at great distances, as you can see. And I think they'll do it very safely. I hope they do it very safely. But I think postponing elections is it's not a very good thing. They have lots of room in a lot of the electoral places. And I think that they will do it very well. But I think postponing is unnecessary.
Their borders, sir.
We think about it. If we don't have to do it, we have very strong emergency powers when it comes to something like this, both on the southern and the northern borders. And we are talking about different things, but we'll see. Right now, we have not decided to do that. Steve?
Dr. Fauci to talk about the vaccine trial today, and whether the side effects for vaccine is it possible to accelerate, or is it still 12 to 18 months?
Thank you for that question. The vaccine candidate that was given the first injection for the first person took place today. You might recall when we first started, I said it would be 2 to 3 months, and if we did that, that would be the fastest we've ever gone from obtaining the sequence to being able to do a phase 1 trial. This has been now 65 days, which I believe is the record. What it is a trial of 45 normal individuals between the ages of 18 and 55. The trial is taking place in Seattle. There will be 2 injections, one at 0 day, first one, then 28 days, there will be 3 separate doses, 25 milligrams, 100 milligrams, 50 milligrams, and the individuals will be followed for 1 year, both for safety and whether it induces the kind of response that we predict would be protected. And that's exactly what I've been telling this group.
You didn't call for that today?
So what's happened, the first injection was today.
You pop off your mouth and you shit that I don't fucking know.
13% in response to the Marco controversy.
Dr. Fauci, is there guidance for someone who may have felt sick but then feels better, so you had symptoms but you no longer do, fever's gone away? How long would you stay home after that point? That's not clear from the guidance.
If you are positive for the infection, if you have coronavirus, it is less how you feel than whether or not you're still shedding virus. So the general issue about
you flip on your goddamn grandma so quick, like your grandma. You flip on her quick, anybody.
You need 2 negative cultures the same way.
And you can bite your. How do your grandma run on you? Because all y'all kids let them run off. Let them go out and buy your shit where they can control it.
The UK said today that pregnancy was one of those underlying conditions. Do we say that too?
There's very little data in pregnant women. I think about a week ago, I said the reports that came in from China, from the Chinese CDC, of the 9 women who were documented to be pregnant and have coronavirus in their last trimester, delivered healthy children, and they themselves were healthy and recovered. That is our total sample size, and we will be getting more data from countries.
Because you always popping off about something. The only time I start an argument, I always have to say about you doing something like that. All these other arguments, that means something you get pissed off about. You pissed off at somebody else and you take it over. How many times you gonna do that?
Is on their individuals in their country.
You even said go and try to work on it. Like, what's the work on? If I didn't do it to you, you shouldn't come to me something.
Encouraging people to go out to restaurants.
I don't get pissed off at my brother, my mama, my kids, and then take it out on you.
No, I haven't heard that from.
Somebody don't piss me off at work and I take it out on
Should they
you.
stop saying that?
You got nothing to do with it. I'm gonna take it out on the person that I love.
They felt okay with their families.
They cause us fucking drunk shit. I don't want to fucking be pissed off at work and come home and have to all
Probably better that you don't, especially in certain areas of
over something that you didn't do. So I don't do it.
You said the governor local.
Devin Nunes is another.
Yeah, well, I hadn't heard that.
It's not being.
Let's say first to what the professionals
Little
are saying.
things that you need to work on.
And what you're saying in your guidelines, people should be.
Talking about last night. You got what you wanted. We done with that. I didn't say that. You did.
Would be best answered, especially maybe secretaries or Dr. Fauci. School districts across the country are closing down yet for the most part daycare centers. remain open and considering that children can sometimes be asymptomatic carriers and go home to older individuals, are there any recommendations about daycare settings? That's a good question, John. In the original guidelines, as they were presented, it was school, not daycare. I think it's very important. We should probably let's go back and discuss that in some detail about whether or not that's equivalent to school. It's a good question.
The question about the sort of underlying public health strategy behind some of these guidelines, telling people to avoid restaurants and bars is a different thing than saying that bars and restaurants should shut down for the next 15 days. So why was it seen as being improved or not necessary to take that additional step off that additional guidance?
Well, I think we have to say the data that has been coming out, and I'm sure you're all up to date on how long the virus lives on hard surfaces. And that has been our concern over the last 2 weeks.
No, I'm sorry. Okay. Guys, I just wanted to read
You know, young or old.
So I'm going to have to let him see.
The small print here, it's really small print. In states with evidence of community transmission, bars, restaurants, food courts, gyms, and other indoor and outdoor venues where groups of people congregate should be closed.
President, are you telling governors in those states then to close all their restaurants?
Well, we haven't said that yet. We're recommending, but we're recommending things. We haven't gone to that yet. That could happen, but we haven't gone there yet. Please.
So on the election, you're saying it's about to be postponed, but if you got the 10-person maximum, guideline, in a practical sense, can you have rallies? Can you primaries shortly out in
Well, hopefully this will pass through, and hopefully that we'll have everybody will be going to restaurants and flying and being on cruise ships and all of these different things that we do, and it will very, very hopefully be in a fairly quick period of time. But we're taking a tough stance. We may make certain other decisions. We may enhance those decisions. We're going to find out. As per the question that you were asking, some of those decisions may be enhanced. How about one more?
On the cyber attack on HHS, is there any reason to believe that they were trying to hack into the system and gather information from the system? And also, is there any reason, so were they trying to hack to get information, or also do you have any reason to think that it could have been Iran, Russia? Do you have any reason to believe it?
So in the previous 24 hours, we saw a great deal of enhanced activity with relation to the HHS computer systems and website. Fortunately, we have extremely strong barriers. We had no penetration into our networks. We had no degradation of the functioning of our networks. We had no limitation of our capacity for people to telework. We've taken very strong defensive actions. The source of this enhanced activity remains under investigation, so I wouldn't want to speculate on the source of it, but there was no data breach or no degradation in terms of our ability to function and serve our important mission here. Thanks.
Another stimulus program, sir. Could you speak to that?
One thing Mike just said, it's very important to get out that this is for the next, what we're talking about, much of what we're talking about is for the next 15 days. Mike, go ahead.
Mr. Vice President, tested.
I've not been tested yet. I'm in regular consultation with the White House physician, and he said I had not been exposed to anyone for any period of time that had the coronavirus, and that my wife and I have no symptoms. But we're checking our temperature regularly every day, and we'll continue to follow guidance. Which I think may be a good place to land at the end of the day. And that is as we expand testing rapidly around the country through the new public-private partnership that the President facilitated. We want the test to be available for people who have symptoms, people who have symptoms and are in vulnerable populations, and our healthcare workers to make sure that they can have the peace of mind that they're doing their jobs and they're properly protected. And so our best counsel, the counsel of the experts, is if you have a question, call your doctor, call your healthcare provider, ask whether or not you should be tested. And that's what my family's doing as well. Let me just emphasize one more point if I can. The President asked the task force to continuously review the data and the information that we have not only in this country, but from around the world, to get the best guidance
to state leadership and local healthcare leadership and all of the American people about how to keep themselves, their family, and their community safe. This guidance for the next 15 days is what our experts say is the best opportunity we have to lower the infection rate over the entire course of the coronavirus. Just as the president did by suspending travel from China, just as he did with travel advisories and screening from Italy and South Korea, and just as we've done with Europe and at midnight tonight with the UK and Ireland, we'll continue to take very decisive steps to lower the spread of the coronavirus. But we want every American to know, and we would ask all of you in the media to spread the word of the American people that this is advice on behalf of the President of the United States to every American, what you can do over the next 15 days to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. And we're calling on every American to do your part, because together we'll get through this and we'll find our way forward.
Mr. President, just one more, Steve. Go ahead. Mr. President, what do you think?
Yeah, video conference saying. What was the upshot of that? Is they're still going to be able to meet at Camp David? I know it looks like it.
Are you confident in their responses as you are with
You're confident that they're in a position that some of them are in a rough position. Look at a couple of them, and some are heading toward pretty rough territory. We had a very good conference. It was a teleconference. Everybody was on the phone, every leader, and almost 100% was devoted to the subject that we're talking about today. And they are working very hard. And, you know, they're very concerned, obviously, but they're working very hard. But I would say just about all of it was, Steve, all of it was devoted to what we're talking about. Well, that summit at Camp David? I think so. I mean, so far it seems we didn't even discuss that. It's still a ways off, but it was a very good discussion, and they have, there's a great camaraderie, there's a great togetherness. I think I could say that very, very strongly. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, the president making it clear that he is doing, and the administration is doing everything in its power to stay on top of this coronavirus. But if you're wondering what was happening in the corner wall and broad and wide, we were down about 3,000 points, the single biggest point hit in market history, and certainly the worst throughout this crisis. In percentage terms, at close to 13%, it was the biggest since the October 19, 1987 crash, when we lost about 24% of the Dow's value in a single day. The precipitant for that, and it was down all day, I must stress, throughout this crisis. But the understanding, and at least the belief on the part of the president and his task force here, that this could linger, that is the coronavirus crisis, that it could linger until August. Now that surprised a lot of folks who were looking at some light at the end of the tunnel as soon as April or May, and at the latest June. That caught a number of people off guard, as did the administration's plan to drastically shrink the number of public locales you should be looking at down the road, limiting it to no more than 10 people. Nevertheless, this just reignited concerns that this is a situation that they're really looking to try to get under control and soon. In the meantime, please stay tuned to Fox News Channel and its Fox station. I'm Neil Cavuto in New York. All right, now the White House has made it clear its recommendations to combat the coronavirus, but it was the revelation that this could linger, and according to the president, into August that cut people short, and they didn't have any idea that this could drag on that long. Now, there's really no way of knowing for sure, but if it were to linger till August, that would mean that the ongoing closure of restaurants and theaters, the delay in baseball, basketball plays, all of that might be dragged on into other venues, other sports, other social gatherings. At first limited to 50 people, now in the eyes of the administration, maybe 10 people. Stocks cratering on all this news today. On percentage terms, it's the second biggest hit we've seen in market history. The biggest one on October 19, 1987, but in point terms, the worst ever. Is the market overreacting? That's not for us to judge right now, but the administration is trying to get in front of all of this and say that it has the means and the resources to help all Americans as long as they follow those rules. John Roberts at the White House with something. John.
You know, Neil, I was talking to White House officials
officials earlier today before the president came out, and they said, well, what you're going to hear from the president today in that briefing will sound alarming. But it's the idea that these are aggressive steps that they have to take in order to bend that curve of infection, to stop the coronavirus from spreading in ways that it might if it were uncontrolled, and we didn't take these steps, and that the mortality rate could increase because of it. The message coming from the White House today was these are going to be aggressive measures, but don't panic. And I asked the president at the beginning of this, when he started taking questions, how long he thinks that people in the United States might be dealing with this. Here's what he told me.
It seems to me that if we do a really good job, we'll not only hold the death down to a level that is much lower than the other way, had we not done a good job. But people are talking about July, August, something like that. So it could be right in that period of time where I say it washes through. Other people don't like that term, but where it washes through.
Is this the new normal until so?
We'll see what happens, but they think August, it could be July, it could be longer than that.
Now, a lot of people took a look at that and swallowed hard and said, oh, we're going to be dealing with these restrictions until July, later, or August even. Anthony Fauci, the director of the National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Disease, later came up and said, well, wait a second here, we're talking about these guidelines, some strict guidelines now. Those are on a beginning 14-day period. We don't think that those are going to last until the height of December. That's when we'll probably finally finish out dealing with this virus, at least for this season, but not that these restrictions will go into effect or stay in effect that long. The president also talked about a request from the airlines for an initial $25 billion from passenger airlines, $4 billion from cargo airlines to help them get through this crisis. The president said that we will support the airlines. He said that the United States may be headed for a recession, but he said it wouldn't be a prolonged one, that we are poised to, when this is all over and this washes out, bounce back in ways that we likely haven't seen before. And as to these rumors that have been spreading around about the potential for a national quarantine, the president said that's not something that we're thinking about right now, but of course, states and local communities, Neil, are taking certain actions that fall short of a quarantine, that certainly are these aggressive measures that the president and many of the nation's governors believe need to be taken in order to stem the spread of this virus and to lower the death rate. Neil?
All right, thank you very much, John Roberts of the White House. So to bring you up to date on this, with the roughly 3,000 points off in the Dow today, think about where we were roughly a month ago on the Dow when it was flirting with 30,000. It has essentially lost a third of its value from those highs since that time, and that's despite the fact that we've got the Federal Reserve doing everything in its power to deal with this, including dramatically cutting interest rates. In a little more than a week, we've seen interest rates collapse about 150 basis points, or 1.5 points. And think about this. As recently as late August, we had interest rates, overnight bank lending rates, for federal funds rates, at around 2 to 2.25%.
Yeah.
They have effectively been reduced to
Got my
zero.
fingers on the
And yet
track.
we've got no bang for the buck on this. And again, Wall Street could be overstating this, overdoing
Why you
this,
gotta
but
play
attention to
this,
some
Chris?
first aid questions later. Doesn't take much to agitate this, but it is responding to the course of this coronavirus, not necessarily the economic impact from this coronavirus. That's an important distinction, because it's the virus itself and how much it's spreading and mutating, and concerns about whether any vaccine is imminent or tests are even imminent. One of the big developments today was the thought of a vaccine test being registered today. That was not enough to dissuade people that this uncertainty hangs over the market, where the deaths over the last few days in Italy alone have topped better than 600. Meanwhile, the effect on the economy and on those who are afraid to go out and shop is being felt across the country. Susan Lee at an Apple store in New York City on the Boulevard. Susan.
Black Monday in 1987, some might call this a Black Monday in 2020.
Like that, get 5 out of each assistant game.
Triggering only the third trading halt since 1997, for the third in a week's time. Now the Federal Reserve trying to reassure markets by cutting interest rates close to zero, injecting $700 billion into the economy instead of instilling assurances, and they basically caused a lot of panic amongst the investing community. Financials being a big drag today. Financials being lowered because they can't make much money on close to 0% interest rates. So you saw the likes of JP Morgan, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo selling off. form of cash grants or government-backed loans. We know that airlines have been one of the hardest hit sectors as a result of this coronavirus spread, and it looks like they are now asking for assistance in order to move forward. Now, as you mentioned, I am standing in front of the Fifth Avenue flagship store of Apple. Apple is announcing over the weekend that they are closing all stores outside of China until March 27th, and that's because of quarantines and to keep employees safe. They are not the only retailer in the big American company to do so. Nike says they are closing doors until the 27th. Lululemon, Under Armour, Anthropologie, among some of the retailers, have also made similar announcements as well. Now, with this 3,000 point slide, we are deeper into bear market territory. That means 20% down from recent peaks. For the S&P 500, we've seen 13 bear markets over the past 93 years. 11 of those 13 have resulted in a recession, but one outlier here, 1987, and that's the comparison that these markets are being made to in 2020. Neil?
All right, Susan, thank you very, very much. Now, we get this back and forth talk about recessions and whether we're looking at one or already in one. The folks at Goldman Sachs are saying we're going to be looking at a 5% contraction in the very quarter we're in. JP Morgan Chase, another investment bank, saying 2% in this quarter, another decline of 3% in the second quarter. That's all on paper from firms that necessarily weren't prescient on dealing with the gold run-up that we had in this market before the sudden collapse in the last month. Let's get the read on all of this from our Republican Senator Tom Cotton. I lost my space there. Sorry, Senator. Thank you for having us. Let me get one quick take from you. It seems that a recession is unavoidable. Are you worried that it lingers?
Bro, right through your arms. I'm not getting it no more.
About the public health of the American people. Of course, the best way to end the recession that probably started 2 months ago in China and then swept its way around the world is to stop the spread of this virus. If we do that, the economy will heal and the markets will come back. I think you're right about that. Senator, I'm curious, though. I mean, a lot of the political squabbling, at least it's ebbed a little bit. It's been toned down. People are trying to, get on the same page on all of this. The administration arguing that it is doing everything in its power to protect the American people, including this latest suggestion to limit gatherings to no more than 10 people. What do you think of that? So, Neil, I think the time has come for extraordinary measures. So I would suggest everyone follow the guidance that President Trump just announced in your local communities or your states. If your governor or your mayor has expressed even sterner guidance, I would follow those as well. I think we need to be prepared.
Yeah, you ain't getting it no more. You not getting it. Now, deal with it. You the one who just cost us a loss. You just cost me to get sucked out. Deal with it. You ain't getting no more. Shut up, y'all lost. Somebody got lost. I ain't coming back. I might get sent, but y'all ain't coming back. Buddy, player of the game too, buddy. What you gonna do? Stretch?
It is not necessarily going to get people who are, hunkering down in their homes and even talk to the payroll tax that might be
you're not getting the ball back.
But might not incentivize them enough to leave those homes because they're scared of this thing. Neil, I think the relief needs to be focused directly on affected workers and their families. That's one reason why I think the House bill
Grab
the
it.
Senate has written.
Sitting there looking at it, bro.
And it doesn't go fast enough. We have systems in place like the unemployment insurance system that can get checks out to affected workers immediately. We can treat them as if they're unemployed if they've got the virus or they've been quarantined or their business has been furloughed either at the decision of local authorities, with so many restaurants and bars, or the business owner, or for that matter, if there are so many young families today having to stay home from work because their child's school has closed.
You know how many points I had trying to get instead of getting out of these, trying to get out of this?
Cash into the hands of those workers and their families so they can buy groceries and pay the bills with a short duration as the most intense phase of this crisis will likely last in the coming weeks.
Do you worry, though, that it accelerates of its own, and so does the fear, whether justified or not? I'm not talking about Wall Street, I'm talking about people now over here, particularly in New York, where all school systems have been shut down, echoing what's happening across the country, where 11 million kids are now, handling the
It
occurs at a time where restaurants, bars, and the like are forced to all but shut down and then serve only takeout and delivery. I'm wondering,
what you see being the multiplier effect here? Well, I think the multiplier effect could be pretty severe, but if we take these extraordinary measures, painful though they may be, hardships that they may impose, it will arrest the spread of the virus more quickly, and that's ultimately the way we get the economy back on its feet and we get markets back, is to stop the spread of the virus. It's better to be accused of overreacting in retrospect than underreacting.
What do you?
What happened in Italy?
See, there's a lot
2
of
weeks
pasta.
ago, Italians were getting cafes, sipping wine and coffee. Today, elderly Italians are being denied care and administered last rites because their healthcare system has been brutally overtaxed. We can avoid that fate here if we act
Oh,
quickly.
you're bad for that. Sam Lee, man, get me out of here.
Damn near 50 years old. It's certain shit I have done before I met you.
Get out.
And I probably would do
Go back a year,
after I met you.
year, 3 years to see who shit I liked and all that motherfucking shit. I was like, man, I could probably goddamn go back and do that with you. I said, but I ain't got time for that fucking shit. I'm not scrolling back seeing who pictures you like or posted. I don't give a fuck about that.
Jesse, they broke me from that shit.
They accuse me of shit, but I can't accuse you of nothing. You just think goddamn everything about you. Then goddamn attitudes and popping off with that mouth. And it ain't just me, and that's why I fuck up. I said, you ain't like that just with me. You like that with every fucking body. Your grandma and them, all that shit. I said, you got problems. Oh, I'm gonna, I told her, I'm not gonna bite my tongue because you don't want to hear something. I'm gonna say what's on my motherfucking mind.
That sucks. I want to come out here in the court and play me. My court. Come out here and clip his ankles. I didn't just one dude, it's so funny. Oh, I showed you, it was his arm.
I turned on the show, I'm like, that's the girl I had sitting in my back car, my back seat.
Like I said, why don't you pick this baby baby you?
Because I seen her on the show. She up there with you.
So she went home and she began to think about it. Just around the time she got pregnant was when she saw you.
She didn't tell me because she knows
Just
no
didn't figure
possibility
you
that's my
out.
baby. That's not my daughter. More than I. More than I. Strong as you. I know that. Strong as you. Look right here. Look at the forehead, Maury. Look at my head. Give me a cigarette, Chuck. Let me say you shut. Make sure that motherfucker know. I'm like credible paternity test. That motherfucker. All kinds of stuff.
Attention, do you have Medicare? Did you know that you may qualify to get $135 added back to your Social Security check every month? It's easy to see if you're eligible. Just call the Go Medicare Benefits Help Center at 800-734-7089. In addition to receiving $135 every month, you might also qualify for a $0 Medicare Advantage plan that includes the following benefits: dental, including fillings, exams, and dentures; vision, including exams, frames, lenses, and new contacts; hearing, including hearing aids and batteries; and prescription drug coverage, all at no additional cost. The Go Medicare
7089.
The accident was not my fault.
When you're injured, you need help fast. Call George Entryway all night.
We need someone that's going to fight for you. Calm down.
Call Dorsey Entryway all night. Everything in our garage is inspired by our racing spirit.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe.